Welcome to another episode of Pound for Pound Boxing Report. I'm your host, Michael. Joining me this week, Gail Falkenthal of Communities Digital News, the one and only Jay Dills, Mr. Boxing Addict. After being on hiatus for a while, he's back. He's back joining us live from the UK, and also joining us live from Taiwan, Sean Newton. How you doing, ladies and gents?
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you.
For those who are new to the Pound for Pound Boxing Report, the Pound for Pound Boxing Report is a live YouTube show /podcast/blog that discusses all things boxing. The motto is, when boxing is good, we will talk about it. When boxing is bad, we will talk about it. The bottom line is, if it concerns boxing, we will talk about it. If you want to find out all things Pound for Pound Boxing Report, all the information about the Pound for Pound Boxing Report, one main place you should go, there's the Pound for Pound Boxing Report blog page. P4pboxingreport.wordpress.com is the link. Let me repeat that, P4pboxingreport.wordpress.com, where you'll find, on the blog, you'll find articles not only written by yours truly, and I'm coming with a couple of articles in the next week or so about Mayweather and Pacquiao, about Mayweather specifically. You will also find articles and blog posts written by Gail Falkenthal herself and KBC Live Kayla Lewis on Twitter. Also, if you check out the blog page, you will find links to find us all over the internet, all over social media, on Facebook, on G+, the two G+ pages, on Twitter. The Twitter handle is @P4pBoxingReport. You'll find the email, p4pboxingrpt@gmail.com. You'll find a link to find us on Tumblr, the RSS feed on Stitcher Radio. Check us out on Stitcher Radio. Just search for Pound for Pound Boxing Report. That's POUND, the number 4, POUND Boxing Report. Check us out there and leave some comments. Leave a review on what we're doing right with the show and what we can do to improve the show. Lastly, we've got a link to RSS feed, of course, where you can check us out there, the podcast. You can find us on Podomatic, where you can find all the previous episodes of the Pound for Pound Boxing Report podcast. And lastly, a link to donate your Twitter account. The link for that is donateyouraccount.com/P4pBoxingReport. Let me repeat that, donateyouraccount.com/P4pBoxingReport. And what happens with that is, should you donate your Twitter account, be a friend, be a pal, be a buddy, donate your Twitter account. Any tweet that comes from the Pound for Pound Boxing Report Twitter page, your Twitter handle will automatically retweet any tweet that comes from the Pound for Pound Boxing Report Twitter page. With those issues out the way, let's get the show started. I'm going to give you a warning right now. We're talking mainly Mayweather Pacquiao. Such a big event, big fight, a lot of controversy in the aftermath. Ladies first, I will go to Gail on this one. You and I, along with some others, EJ Boxing Live and some others, Jay Dills as well, we were part of a live post-fight show immediately following the fight that I hosted here on the Pound for Pound Boxing Report, talking about the fight. For those who are, you should know, but for those who do not know, Mayweather defeated Pacquiao last Saturday night at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, 116-112 on two scorecards, 118-110 on the third. Gail, the fight for me, Mayweather dominated as far as I'm concerned. He had his way pretty much throughout. I said in the lead up, once Mayweather starts to adjust, gets his jab going, finds the punches that he can land on Pacquiao, the fight was a wrap. It pretty much proved that way. Mayweather, the multi-dimensional fighter against Pacquiao, who fought very one-dimensional, didn't adjust at all. And at the end of the day, I thought he kind of gave up. He kind of quit. I know he had the issues with the shoulder, and we will talk about that. But to me, as the fight went along, Gail, it's like Mayweather took the spirit out of Pacquiao, who quit trying as far as I'm concerned. Your thoughts on what went down Saturday at the MGM Grand?
Well, the fight was not unexpected. I mean, nobody should have been surprised by that outcome who was paying even the least little bit of attention. In this case, you had a lot of casual fight fans who were tuned in. You know, it was a party scene. It was the big news of the week. It went way beyond the normal confines of the sport, certainly in the United States. So you have a lot of people moaning and groaning saying, oh, my God, it was a blowout. It was boring. It was a horrible fight. You know, folks, if you order a salad for your meal, it's not going to taste like pizza. This was a fight. There was a salad, okay? That's what it was. Now, I thought it was I thought it was well worth watching. Maybe I am probably in the minority, other than the hardcore money team folks, but it was a masterful display. Floyd did what he does, and Floyd showed that he can do it with anybody at any level. The numbers absolutely didn't lie after the fight. First of all, you've got a guy who's 2 inches taller with a 5-inch greater reach than his opponent. So he's starting off, right there. He visibly is the bigger man. He is. Manny is talking about going back down to 140. If he's going to continue fighting, and that's a question we all need to discuss, that if he's going to continue, yes, he should absolutely do that. And if you looked at the CompuBox stats afterward, Floyd absolutely dominated in every single category. He was normally Pacquiao is the busier fighter, and he makes up for his lower connect percentage with volume. Well, this time he didn't even do that, and the outcome was inevitable. Nobody should be surprised. I'll go ahead and brag on myself. I called it down to the scorecard, 116-112. The one area I didn't call is, and I thought that Pacquiao would win the first few rounds, Mayweather would adjust, and he'd win the rest. It was a little more up and down. And what was slightly frustrating about the fight is that when Manny had his moments, they were great moments. He had a few really good moments. They were only a few. He needed way more. He needed to be far busier. And I don't know that the shoulder issue made a damn bit of difference. But I'm sure we can get into that later in this discussion.
Let me go to Mr. Boxing Guy, since he's been away for a while. Your impressions of what went down in terms of the fight. And did you see any controversy? Because I know a lot of folks have been, one in particular on ESPN, has been mouthing off talking about how Pacquiao won and how Mayweather was doing all this running and whatnot. So your impressions of the fight.
Yeah, well, I've heard some of the guys in America going on about Skip Bayless and all this type of stuff, but I don't get ESPN, unfortunately, but I've heard it's been good for them. I saw the fight, and it went pretty much exactly as like Gail was saying, the way we probably thought it would. Mayweather would win a points decision. We thought Pacquiao would give a little bit more, and that was the main thing in the fight, really. It was just how disappointing Manny was. He kind of sort of went into attack at times, and then he'd pull back, and there was, I think, a period where he was getting a bit of success, and then he stepped away, and I think everyone was like, what you're doing? Keep going for him. But he just didn't have it in him, and I don't know whether that's the shoulder or he just hasn't got it anymore. I don't know, but all credit to Floyd. He was incredible. He looked as good as he always has. The problem for me was before the fight, they were building it up to be the biggest fight in history, and it probably was financially, etc. But for all the casual fans, if you want to call them that, who were tuning in, I don't think they're going to stay. After watching that, and it was never going to be that kind of war fight where everybody's going to be absolutely enthralled on the edge of the seat, because Floyd doesn't fight like that. So it sort of went the way we thought it would, and I thought Floyd won it clearly. I thought he was exceptional on the night. After the first 6 rounds, I think I had it 4-2. A couple of the guys who were with me who were watching it had it 3-3 at the time. I could go with that, but then from then onwards, it was pretty much all Floyd, and Manny just couldn't get to him. So yeah, I really don't want to see a rematch. I really hope that doesn't happen. One thing I was disappointed about actually was, with the undercard and with the whole kind of show. I don't know if you were at the fight, Gail? Were you in the arena at the time? Or?
I was not.
No. Well, it seemed like it was kind of pretty media and pretty corporate. There wasn't much atmosphere. Until the fighters actually came out to fight, there was no atmosphere throughout the night. And to be honest, we had a couple of guys round, managed to get rid of the wives and girlfriends, and we sat down playing cards, having a bit of a laugh, And by the time the fight came on, I've been waiting for the fight for years, but by the time it come on, I was hardly bothered about watching it. It was that, because I'd not built it up enough.
Yeah.
in a way, if you know what I mean.
Very anticlimactic for a lot of people. It was.
Yeah, so yeah, it was disappointing all round in a way, but you know, Floyd's come out of it well, and as we've always said, he's the cleverest man in boxing, isn't he? And he's waited 5 years to get Manny in the ring when he knows he's a little bit older and maybe he's a little bit, not shot, but he's got the break on him, I think, and he duly beat him, and he's come out the winner.
Yeah, I want to go to Jay Bills and then follow up with Sean. We were talking before the show, fellas, and we was talking about the reaction to the fight in terms of casual fans versus folks who in the know, if you will, who say they know their boxing and whatnot. First of all, I'll give you impressions of the fight, Jay Bill, but talk about the different reaction between the casual fans and those who in the know, because Gail mentioned it, Boxing Addict mentioned it. The thing that troubles me, not the casual fans, their observation of the fight, because they don't follow the sport like we do. They do not know the way that Mayweather fights. He tends to fight throughout his career. My issue was the reaction to folks who follow boxing, who claim they know boxing, when they were when they said that all Mayweather did in this fight was run. All he did was clutch and hold. That it was boring. My response to that is, you did not know Mayweather in terms of how he fought. You do not know that he was a calculated guy who is defensive, who relies on skill and accuracy and timing. And from a historical perspective, how can you sit there and talk about how much he runs and how boring the fight was when you look back at a Leonard and Duran, their second fight, when Leonard fought very much the same way? And yet he got a whole bunch of credit. And even going further, for these guys who claim they know so much, let's go back even further. Willie Pep ran more in his second fight with Stanley Sadler in '49, and yet it was praised as the finest performance of his career. Now, I'm not saying that this was the finest performance of Mayweather's career, but when you look at the way those fights went, they were very much the same, but yet Mayweather is getting dogged for his performance, but other fighters who are fighting the same way get praise.
Okay, here's some scenarios that I picked up. Some of these YTBC members, they're media zombies, meaning mainstream media zombies. They're suckers to the hype. Then you got people out here who are stuck UFC style fighting, and then the movie Rocky kind of influenced certain Americans of how boxing should be going as fighting styles and stuff like that. But people were hyped to be duped to think that, okay, this master magician, this wizard, defensive wizard, the second coming of Pernell Whitaker, or whatever you want to call it, as they hype him up to be, is going to be there's going to be a fighter that can match him skill for skill. That's the problem right there. They hyped it up that Pacquiao could match Mayweather skill for skill, where it'll be a difficult matchup for both. When really a hardcore fan like me visualized it, Mayweather can make more adjustments to Pacquiao than Pacquiao can with Mayweather, only because of the toolage of either fighter. And I said, Pacquiao just has no offense when you slide step to your left. He just misses a lot of shots, and he never cuts you off from the right side if you're an orthodox fighter, to avoid the right hand or to allow you to cut you off from moving to your left. Now, the other problem is, I was looking at the length Floyd Mayweather has as an advantage over Manny Pacquiao. That's another problem. Like Mayweather, if he has a size advantage against you, like he did against Marquez, he used his range to command the distance. Now, Manny Pacquiao tried to use certain habits in that fight that he did against Marquez by trying to dominate with his lead foot. Mayweather would never allow him to do it, because when Pacquiao tried it, Mayweather would time him with that right hand. And that made Pacquiao more honest and kept him at bay. And I typed all this before the fight even started, a couple days before the fight. And I told people this is what's going to happen. They said, I'm going to copy and paste this and show you how much of a fool you are. You need to keep your day job because you don't know shit about boxing. I was like, well, you want to bet money on it? And, you know, they didn't put their money where their mouth is. Now, I feel sorry for guys like Mark Wahlberg who put $250,000 on Manny Pacquiao and wasn't informed about this right shoulder injury. But back to the point of the fight. So I just told people, like, this fight is going to be kind of boring. So I said for me it's going to be enjoyable because I'm going to see some boxing, not some socket type boxing. So it was enjoyable for me, but in the long run, I think people were hyped up to believe that this is going to be like a mega fight. To them, what a mega fight is, there's some blood drawn. People are attracted to blood when it comes to fights. There's going to be some power punches where guys got to give their all and their grit. But, you know, people forget Mayweather's ability, Mayweather's class is the most complicated style Manny Pacquiao was ever going to fight. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is the most complete boxer Manny Pacquiao has ever faced. Period. And people need to realize that. Speed don't kill Floyd. Power don't kill Floyd. Size don't kill Floyd. A variety of tools and ring IQ and utter toolage beats Floyd, but it's never been done. And to outthink Floyd, you got to bring in the perception that you're out fighting Floyd. You got if you box him, you're fucked. You got to fight the guy. But how do you fight the guy? You got to have a jab, and then sometimes you got to give him different. Lead him with a hook. If you don't lead with a hook, you got to fight him on the inside. But you got to learn how. Mayweather's reactionary timing, his speed, and his two powerful punches, his left hook, his right hand, and the way he can go to your body, the way he can use the jab if he wants to, is impeccable. Floyd can give you so many different ways he can fight you. And to me, that's the definition of elite fighter. And I ain't seen Manny Pacquiao ever fought a fighter who could switch it up on him in any kind of way. I mean, Timothy Bradley and Marquez were the only two closest ones. Cotto tried, but he doesn't have the reflexes or the speed or the head movement like Mayweather or Bradley. But Marquez, he's a great counterpuncher, stay in the pocket. That's how he's a good timer. He could take a punch and throw one right back. And Pacquiao, you know, he has bad habits. Pacquiao uses his jab to radar you like a GPS system to find where he could lead with his left hand. Against Mayweather, that wasn't going to work. Mayweather kept his fist right in front of Pacquiao to control the distance, and Pacquiao was trying to get around it, and he never could. And he couldn't even dominate with the leading foot or anything. And Pacquiao, every time he tried to attack, he lunged in, and he got slapped with a left hook, or he got clinched, or, you know, he got timed with the right hand, and that kept him honest and inactive, and that kept down the volume. I seen Pacquiao throw a hard right hook, I think round 6 or round 7, and I mean he was using his jab constantly in the fight, but it was inactive. He never had the range. He never controlled the distance, and it was pretty bad. So the fans saw a boxing match instead of a fight. They wanted to see a fight. And to them, a fight is like somebody like Terrence Crawford against Yuriorkis Gamboa. You know, the first half, Gamboa is dominating with his speed. Second half, Crawford switches styles, and he starts fighting back. And he dominates Gamboa and eventually finishes him. That's what boxing fans want to see. But against Mayweather, you know, if you ain't got the toolage, you ain't gonna fuck with him. And I tried to tell them that's how it's going to go, and they was like, no, they say Pacquiao could do this and that. I seen Pacquiao hurt people. See, people need to understand styles. Pacquiao cherry picks his style just as much as they say Mayweather cherry picks his style. Pacquiao likes fighting stationary fighters. So, of course, against a stationary fighter, they're going to look bruised up and fucked up. But guys who can move, got good head movement, they rarely going to have bad marks like a stationary fight against Pacquiao. An example, Timothy Bradley. But anyways, before I give the mic to Sean, I just want to say I enjoyed the fight. I enjoy winning my money. I'm enjoying what it did for my earnings, and I enjoyed the fight, and I enjoy watching history right in front of me for 5.6 million pay-per-view share buys. That never happened in my era of boxing. Now, Sean, there you go.
Yeah, I was gonna go to Sean, but the onus, I go to you on this one, Sean. First of all, joining us live right now, EJ Boxing Live. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, people. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Hanging in, man. Hanging in. I know you got a lot to say. I'm gonna come to you, following Sean, but I'll go to you on this one, Sean. Your impressions of the fight. Also joining us right now, from Trinidad is what you need. What's going on, man? What's going on?
All right, I'm all right. Hello, everybody.
What's going on? What's going on? Sean, your impressions of the fight, and the reaction, not necessarily of folks, casual fans who I understand it, but my issue is the folks who claim to know boxing. You can say I just don't understand, Sean, and I know you was rooting for Pacquiao, but you had Mayweather winning by a wide margin. I just don't understand whether it's Evander Holyfield, Skip Bayless, whose knowledge he shows his ignorance every time he speaks on boxing. I'm sorry. Others who insist that Mayweather ran, that he didn't do enough to win. In my response, and you can comment, Sean, the onus for me was on Pacquiao. We knew what Mayweather was going to do. We knew how he fought. Pacquiao had to be the one to make the fight, to force the action, and he just couldn't, in large part because of what Mayweather was doing to him. He nullified any and everything Pacquiao was trying to do. And Sean, we talked about this before the show. Where was the adjustment? What was Freddie Roach doing in there? He gave him no advice to go with a strategy, a plan B.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I was sort of disappointed because, like we were saying earlier, I mean, we know Manny can use feints to get inside, to use his speed to get inside fighters. I mean, Floyd did what a lot of people thought he would. He came out aggressive earlier and set the tone, as opposed to let Manny set the tone, and hit him with a couple lead right hands right off the bat, just to say, be careful, it's dangerous. And at that point, it really threw Manny off. You could see that he wasn't very aggressive and that he was sort of searching for a way to get in and had a hard time. But I was sort of surprised he didn't use more feints, that he didn't try to come in differently, use a little more angles. Like they were talking during the whole fight, that basically he was just coming in straight ahead, and he wasn't sort of using any angles to get inside. And he has fast feet, and he is an athletic fighter. But being able to get low, I thought, would have helped him as well. The few times he did get low and sort of slipped under Floyd's jab and sort of went to Floyd's body with punches and then got inside. I mean, of course, Floyd is going to hold him once he gets in, but at least he's changing the momentum of the fight. He's setting a tone. And I didn't think he did enough of that. I mean, I don't want to get into whys and wheres and what. I mean, Floyd did what he needed to do. And like you said, it's not a surprise Floyd fought the way he fought. That's the way he fights. So it was up to Manny to do something different. And unfortunately, he didn't show in this fight that he could. But, I mean, there's always another day. Not to say that I'm looking for a rematch. This is one of those fights it would be much better if we never saw again, because it's definitely not good for boxing. Floyd is a great fighter, but he is like the New Jersey Devils of hockey for boxing. He plays defensively, stops the offense, makes the game boring and not entertaining. And, the Devils won lots of championships, but they were never a fan-favorite team. Whereas the Oilers, an offensive juggernaut who scored millions of goals and had really flashy, exciting style, or in basketball, the Phoenix Suns, they never had the defense to win the championships, but people still loved them and they still had lots of people watching their games. Floyd doesn't bring that. But he is him, so we can't criticize him for doing what he does and winning, because why would you adjust if it works? So, I mean, more power to him. But, I can understand your perspective towards, like, fans. I think some people are just disappointed and just have their nose bent out of shape. casual fans. I watch the fight with real casual fans. They don't watch boxing at all. After 6 rounds,
But my issue is more for the folks who are in the know.
yeah, and I mean, I think they just bent out of shape because they were hoping something else would happen. So they're just looking for excuses. I mean, you know, nobody wanted Manny to win more than I did. But at the same time, the fight is over and it's time to move on. And Canelo is fighting Kirkland this weekend, and GPG is fighting William Monroe. And there's big fights up. We don't need to worry and stay on this issue. You know, so many videos and people are like going on about this and that. And if he's had surgery, he had surgery. We'll see what happens. You know, I don't care. You know, whatever. All we know is what we saw, which is that Floyd dictated the pace, dictated the distance, and got the victory. And Manny wasn't able to make the adjustments that he needed to do more, to make the fight more interesting, which is disappointing, but it is what it is.
I will go to you on this one, EJ Boxing Live. I know you was on the show with me live following the fight Saturday night. And I know you've been on multiple shows, and the week following you was in your place, had folks over partying, EJ. You were celebrating like nobody's business within those in the YTBC. I'm gonna give you the floor. Mayweather's decisive win over Pacquiao. Speak on it, brother. Burn.
Listen, boy, that was the greatest nights of I've ever seen. That's what you know. What I'm like you understand? Like 5 years of.
All right, thank you for tuning in once again.
Oh,
it's Ishmael Sistrom from
sorry about that. Sorry about that.
And ST.
Keep it down, bro. Keep it down, bro. Whatever it is.
I don't know where it's coming from. One minute.
Our boxing hangout.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
With me today, I got two returners from last week. We got.
All right. Sorry about that. Okay, it's gone. Yeah. We there? We good?
Good.
All right, sorry, yeah. All right, where was I now? Yeah, 5 years of just debating backwards and forwards, and we finally get a conclusion to the fight. And I was sitting there watching with my brother and 2 friends, and the girl I was sitting there with, she's a casual. I don't think she even watched much boxing. My other friend, he don't watch much boxing. My brother definitely don't watch boxing. So basically, I'm kind of got in the know because obviously I talk boxing every day, and we're watching the fight. And they're watching what I'm seeing, and they're seeing a masterclass of boxing. And you know what? Manny Pacquiao was trying his best. He just couldn't get in. He couldn't get in. He was trying to get in with Floyd. Floyd was being slick. There were some points in round 4 where Manny really put it on him. The crowd was going crazy. But if you really look at the punches, they didn't really land. The body punches landed, but no head punches, really. But you know you're going to give that round to Manny. Manny had another good round again. And you're watching the fight, and you're thinking, you know what? Remember the rumors about going to the scorecard? You're thinking, oh man, go to the scorecard, they're gonna rob him. That was said. So everyone was. Well, I was anxious anyway until finally the scorecards are read, and he was like, oh yeah, finally. But like some people think the scorecards are white. I think I gave Manny like 4 rounds, and I thought, you know what? It was as an occasion and as an event, I think. I don't know if people paying £100 if they got their money, but in the UK, how much I got, obviously to sit down and watch a fight with my brother. They don't even watch boxing, but to come round and have people like I don't know, girl, you was in the event, and just to be in the whole event and the occasion, that whole thing of media, and it was good for our sport. I don't care, it was good for our sport. Now the conclusion is okay, Floyd won the fight, and Manny's complaining that he won the fight. I think that's even entertaining in itself if you really think about it. It's caused people, but people think they don't get their money worth. They blame Floyd, but it's got people talking about it. It's been people talking about backwards and forwards in the media. It kind of reminds me of Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. But when it finally happened, when it finally finished, it's like, dull. But this continued. They still couldn't have another fight. They're still talking about it. People's like, was it good for boxing? I think it was great for boxing. It was great for boxing. Not for the people who back Manny Pacquiao, obviously, but for boxing entertainment, people were talking about it. Casual fans got to see it. They're like, oh, we didn't like it, but at least they had an opinion on it. At least they had an opinion about it. And for my thing is that I think the right person won the fight, and it was a good fight. I was thoroughly entertained. Now, I just see Floyd on ESPN now. He had an interview with I think he was Jim Gray, and this is just like moments ago. He said he ain't gonna give him a rematch, and the reason why he's not gonna give him a rematch, he didn't like what Manny was saying. He said Manny's a coward and he's sore loser. But Floyd said he might change his mind again. So whether we know or not, like like Sean said already, like we don't want to see it again, but I want to see it again. I want to see it again. Because you know why? People are still talking jive, and they need to get shut up again. And you know what? All this thing about his shoulder and this, that, the other. Let's do it again. How about we do it in vanilla? How are we doing the Thriller Manila 2 or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, this
will not happen.
No, I'm not saying. No. Listen, we didn't think the first fight's gonna happen. So the possibilities are endless. I'm just putting out a possibility. All I'm saying to you is that how long it's gonna take. This is entertaining. I'm having so much fun because I'm on the winning side. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm on the winning side, I can talk so much junk and have a great time and enjoy it. If I was on the other side, I'd be upset. The first thing I'll be saying, it was a dull fight. Second thing I'll be saying, it wasn't that good. And you know what I'll be saying? This wasn't good for boxing. Because I'm on the winning side, I'm saying it's great. And I believe it's great. I think it's great for boxing. I think for all the sports writers who covered the sport, covered Mayweather, I don't care what anyone says. If there's a rematch, those same people who did the sport, they will be back again. Get barely, they couldn't get enough because they want to get their pound of flesh. They want to see Mayweather lose, and Mayweather's not going to give it to them. And the Rocky Marcial record, I don't know how important that is to Floyd. We will see. But you know what? I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, I love that fight. And for all the Mayweather haters, they can go eat crow. Yeah, Sean. You know what, Sean? You know what? I give Sean credit. He gave Mayweather his due. Better than some other people like it, even though he still downplayed Mayweather, said it was boring and whatever. But he gave his props and said Mayweather won the fight. And you know what? He's bigger than most people I know in the YTVC are not even doing that. They're talking. They can't even give Mayweather his credit. But you know what? End of the day, I enjoyed it, and that's what I gotta say. I'll pass it over to what you need. Go ahead.
Yeah, I disagree with the notion of a rematch. And I'll explain later on, but I'm gonna give him what you need. His time to give his analysis of the fight. Unmute your mic. What you need? Unmute your mic.
Mayweather versus Pacquiao, right?
Right.
Well, you know, I'm breaking it down right now online. You guys can watch the Cobra versus the Rattler, also known as the Cobra versus the Rattlesnake. I think of Pacquiao as the Rattlesnake. Both of the guys are ambush fighters. You know, I love ambush fighters. Okay, I like guys who they take pride in attacking you when you least expect it. So what people don't understand about this fight is two ambush fighters. Yes, Pacquiao's tough, Floyd's tough, right? But these guys don't take pride in banging out and going in an all-out war with you, even though you've seen Pacquiao in a lot of exchanges, but usually he actually is very crafty in exchanges, okay? He's actually waiting to counter you. So even in the middle of an exchange, he's very, very fast. He's actually countering the guy who's throwing punches. He's looking for those openings. He's throwing a lot of punches, but he's looking for openings to actually hit you. You understand? That is Manny Pacquiao. So usually, if you watch him when he fought Oscar De La Hoya, he would use the lead left, something that Floyd does too. In fact, the both guys have a lot in common, actually. So he'd use that lead left, pop you with it, slip to the side. By the time you are turning to face him, he again catches you off guard because you were in the middle of a turn. You understand what I'm saying? That's Pacquiao. Now, Mayweather, he's the same way. So what you were looking at was two guys sizing up each other in the first round, and Mayweather got that reach on Pacquiao. You understand? He got that nice long reach on him. So once Pacquiao gets out of position because Pacquiao is about to throw his left, he throws the jab, and he's about to throw his left. Before he could throw the left, Floyd throws his right. You get what I'm saying? So that's what was going on in there. Floyd kept on beating Pacquiao to the punch. He was reading Pacquiao. Pacquiao's trying to read Mayweather. But Pacquiao's major problem is, how do I get on the inside of this guy, not too far in. I can't stay too far out. I have to get right in my range. And as the fight progressed, whether people know it or not, Pacquiao actually got his range. But once he found his range to do exchanges, he found out that Floyd's pretty good at mid-range. And Floyd started beating him at mid-range, and Floyd started to withstand the punches that he could take and exchange with Pacquiao. But Floyd wouldn't stay mid-range for very long. He'd step into mid-range in process to get either inside of Pacquiao or on the outside of Pacquiao. And Floyd wanted to draw Pacquiao into him. You understand? The game was, how can I draw this guy into my fight? How can I draw this guy so I can counter him? Because Pacquiao's a counterpuncher too. That's what people don't know. So when you saw Floyd in the corner, he was trying to trick Pacquiao into coming in. And Pacquiao said, Floyd, I ain't going to get fooled like that. So he stays on the outside. He jabs a little bit. He has to be careful how he jabs because Floyd can also reach him with his jab. So he stays just outside the line, and he's cutting at an angle. He's cutting an angle. He's actually closing the distance and cutting an angle to get closer to Floyd. So he's not coming straight on to Floyd. You only see Pacquiao come straight on to Floyd when he's attacking, when he gets explosive, right? Because everybody explodes in a straight line. You get what I'm saying? And he throws a couple punches. But if Floyd's out of the way and check hooks him, you know, he's going to be in no man's land, and he's going to look crazy, right? So what Pacquiao did was he started inching sideways on Floyd, especially when Floyd was on the ropes. He tried to move, but Floyd could see that. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of things going on because Floyd's looking for a particular angle. You get what I'm saying? So it was a high-speed chess match by two most excellent boxers. You understand? I watched this fight a couple times. Well, Pacquiao landed a lot of good body shots. He had some pretty good body work, but he couldn't really land two body shots on Floyd. He could only get one in. He tried. Sometimes he'd get a straight left. Sometimes it hit Floyd's arm. You know, Floyd kind of crosses his arm across his chest. So he would catch it. Sometimes Floyd would slap it down, right? Sometimes he would slap it down. As Floyd pivots this way, he check hook Pacquiao this way. He check hook him as he's pivoting. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that was going on in that fight that was just highly interesting to me. And as I watch it in super slow motion, there was some extraordinary Pacquiao did. Floyd caught him with a straight right. Pacquiao pivoted and hit Floyd sideways without looking at Floyd with his right hand. And then he spun, he pivoted and caught him with the left. But Floyd basically slightly parried it. It was crazy. I was like, how the heck did he do that? You know? So, I mean, when I look at that fight, I advise anybody, go watch that fight again in slow motion if you can. I think of it as a cobra versus a rattlesnake. The cobra's longer, but it can only strike once. You get what I'm saying? A cobra strikes once. You know, a rattlesnake strikes 3, 4, 5, 6 times. You get what I'm saying? And Pacquiao, sometimes he throw. I saw him hit Floyd on the top of his head with a double left hook. Boom, boom. A double left hook uppercut. It was beautiful again. I mean, I'm just saying. I like boxing. I like boxing. I can't lie to you guys. So I like to watch what these guys are doing that people didn't pick up because it's so fast. They do it so quickly, you know. So and then these guys were fighting, like I said. I didn't say it, but these guys were fighting like super featherweights. Did you see how fast they were moving? I mean, they're faster than Lomachenko and that boy from Jamaica, Nicholas Walters. They're faster than those two dudes, and they're welterweights. And I was like, Jesus, you know, how fast they move. Now, people thought they were moving slow. Relative to one another, they move slow. But if you guys actually go and look at tape of these guys compared to other boxers, they make the other boxers look pedestrian, man. These guys are fast, both of them. You know, Floyd's faster than Pacquiao from stationary to movement, but Pacquiao is quick. I saw him throw like 5 punches, and he came at Floyd. It looked like he was floating on air coming at Floyd. It was crazy how fast he moved across that ring, you know. And Floyd got the longer legs, so he moved back with the double guard back like this way. So he caught him here. It was like it was like watching The Matrix when Neo went at Morpheus. It was like I was like, damn, you know. So I mean, you guys just gotta watch that fight. It was these guys are really ridiculously fast, and I mean, the only way you can appreciate this thing, you have to watch it more than once. And the more you watch it, is the more you begin to understand how skilled these guys are. Pacquiao, I mean, I used to think that Keith Thurman would give Pacquiao problems. And I'm second thinking that, because I don't know if Keith Thurman's as fast as Pacquiao. Pacquiao is fast, y'all. He's fast, okay? And the thing about Pacquiao that's deceptive is you don't think he could hit you because he's so far out there. And in 2 seconds, I saw him hit Floyd with that counter left. And Floyd, you know, he got stunned, and he went back onto the ropes. And I was like, damn, he pull counted Floyd in the southpaw stance. And I'm like, damn. You know, and he did that a couple times. He check hooked Floyd coming in when Floyd was throwing that lead right, and he missed. And he check hooked Floyd on the side. I was like, damn, you know. So, I mean, I can't express to you guys how much I value Pacquiao, because I think this is one of the fights that he actually performed. I think he performed better than a lot of his recent fights. Of course, clearly better than Chris Algieri fight. He was a lot smarter in this fight, you know, because he didn't walk into as much punches as people think. I think what happened to Pacquiao that wore him down was Floyd's body attack. And now here's the weird thing. Floyd was jabbing Pacquiao to the body, and he was landing that straight right to Pacquiao's body after Pacquiao threw a flurry. So once Pacquiao is tired and he's trying to regroup, Floyd Mayweather would hit him in the place where you have to recoup, and that sucks the life out of you as a fighter. And I saw Pacquiao heave at the end of the round after he had collected a left jab and Floyd went under it. He heaved at the end of the round. It reminded me of Marcos Maidana, and that's the same thing Floyd did in the first fight against Marcos Maidana, and in the second. He let Marcos Maidana throw, and then he'd counter on the ropes. He'd count, and always to specific areas, like the spleen area, or like he's going to hit you in the solar plexus, anywhere where you could rejuvenate. And Floyd against Pacquiao in the early rounds also, you notice when he tied up Pacquiao, he kept on hitting him very hard to the spleen area, right under his left hand. And what he was doing was he was taking away Pacquiao's power in his left hand. The muscles under here is what moves the arm. You get what I'm saying? It built from the back to the front here. And that's how he took away Oscar's jab as well. And he was really digging into Pacquiao's side. He was really digging into his side. I see Pacquiao sometimes try to buffer it. And a lot of the inside work that Floyd Mayweather did in the clinches, he'd have one hand free, or Pacquiao would tie one hand, and then he would hit him with the next hand. Those also wear down Pacquiao, right? So you guys got to understand, Floyd is very, very tricky. He's a very tricky guy. He doesn't just throw punches for punches' sake. Every punch that he sends offensively, and he sends a lot of punches offensively, have a psychological and a physical effect on his opponents, always. Because he was able to do whatever he wanted with Pacquiao from rounds 10 to 12 because he wore down Pacquiao enough. You see what I'm saying? So that's what Floyd does. But that's the fight, basically.
Let's move on. I go to Jay Dill on this. In the aftermath, you can't talk Mayweather Pacquiao without talking about the issue with Pacquiao's shoulder. He disclosed in the post-fight press conference that he had an issue with the shoulder before the fight. We now know that he asked the Nevada State Athletic Commission to get a shot, a numbing agent. The commission denied him. Later on, we found out that Pacquiao had surgery yesterday for a torn rotator cuff. Your thoughts on this issue with the shoulder? The Nevada State Athletic Commission apparently is going to file a suit against Pacquiao because apparently Pacquiao didn't exactly tell the truth in terms of pre-fight examination in the report. Your thoughts, Jay Dill, started with Jay Dill, and I'll go to Gail on the issue with the shoulder of Manny Pacquiao. And do you think, how much of a difference do you think that made in his performance? You there, Jay Dill? I'll go to you. Jay Dill's not on with us right now. I'll go to you on this one, Gail. Your thoughts on this uproar over Pacquiao's shoulder?
Yeah, I feel for Manny in this one because
I'll go back to you, Jay Dill. Go ahead, Gail.
Let's go through the scenarios. All right, we've got what happened. You know, Manny decides I got to carry on. I got to do what I got to do because this fight's too big to back out of. All right, and then he takes the heat for that. But let's imagine that he did pull out, or he did disclose this thing, and the fight ends up getting postponed, or in the boxing world, maybe it doesn't get postponed. Maybe it then, in fact, never happens. There would have been, talk about lawsuits, it would have been crazy bad. A lot of people had already invested a lot of money in this fight. He was in an absolute no-win position. So brings it up ahead of time. You know, he's going to be accused of being a coward. He gets in there, and now he's being accused of being a coward and running. There's flame wars and Twitter trash talk going on right now about Manny's publicist Fred Sternberg has just said tonight, funny how the jerk calling Manny Pacquiao a coward is the one running from the rematch. That would be you, Floyd Mayweather. It's going to go on forever. Honestly, I don't think it would have made a whole lot of difference the way Manny fought. He never got close enough to Floyd to fire either lefts or rights. So what's the difference? I understand why people are angry, and I understand why people who bet a lot of money feel they got robbed. But you know what? It's called gambling for a reason.
J. Bill, your thoughts?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Pacquiao right shoulder looked pretty okay to me. I mean, he landed a right cross or a right hook on Floyd a couple times. You know, and the speed of it was pretty fluid for me, for what I saw. And he was using the jab to the body when he double right jab to get a combination to the body a few times. I don't think that was the excuse Pacquiao needed to use. I mean, you're going against a champion that won a title at 135 with an injured left shoulder during the fight. But that was no excuse for him of keeping it a close fight or finding a way to win, fighting a fight that he's not accustomed to, which is on the inside. So Pacquiao using these excuses, I don't believe. And then I'm reading different articles. 1 minute, I read an article on blacksportsonline.com. I don't know how credible that site is, but they got where Aram says Pacquiao had this type of injury since the De La Hoya fight. I don't think I believe that source, but you know, that's a hunch. And then why on the questionnaire you don't even put this as a problem with you going into the fight? So that's where, so people can know where they still get to knowing where they're gonna put their big money on. Like, I feel sorry for guys like Mark Wahlberg not knowing that Pacquiao was injured with a right shoulder, you know, putting $250,000 on there. I mean, and then certain people put their house mortgages on Pacquiao, their life savings, everything, and some people commit suicide. I think a civil lawsuit, in a way, is somewhat justified, in another way, unnecessary. So I'm on the fence with that. But at the same time, Manny Pacquiao, you know, is a sore loser. Take it like a man. I mean, in UFC, when John Jones injured his shoulder, he still found a way to submit a guy. When he lost his toe, kind of, in a fight, he still knocked out a guy. My point is, fighters fight. They find ways to win, or they find ways to survive, or they lose, whatever. Injuries are not a good excuse. I mean, I lost respect for David Haye when he fought Klitschko and he used his pinky toe as an excuse why he couldn't fight. I also lost respect for him why he didn't fight Tyson Fury, because he claimed his shoulder was fucked up. Now he's trying to find a way to get back in the fight game. Then I read another source that Manny Pacquiao said, I mean not Pacquiao, but a source said that Pacquiao's shoulder could be healed by September. So it's a major mind fuck going on with these different stories and scenarios that I'm reading or I'm getting information on. So at the end of the day, I think we should be talking about that, and I wish Manny Pacquiao, since he's a Christian, show some humility and say Floyd did more than I expected, and if they say Floyd won the fight, I won't argue with it. I would just like another rematch. I'll do better, like Tyson did with Lennox Lewis after he took his humiliation of a loss. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, anybody that believes or duped to this and say, yeah, that's why Pacquiao didn't be as aggressive, come on, man. He couldn't get through Mayweather's jab half the time, or couldn't get close to the range, and when he did get close to the range, Mayweather kept on turning him around, or Mayweather would hit him with an uppercut or hit him with a right, or, you know, slap him around with left hook and get out the way and make Pacquiao reset, which is frustrating. It tires you out and stuff. So at the end of the day, Pacquiao, be a man. You know, don't use his shoulder injury as reason why. I know you're trying to sell a fight. This next fight will not sell 5.6 million pay-per-view buy shares, and I'm sorry. It's just I'm not gonna fall for it. So whoever wants to take after me, go ahead.
I go to what you need, and then EJ.
Oh, what you need? What you need? Did you think round 7 it was a even round for both? Because I had an even round in round 7. I just wanted to hear that.
Round 7 for me was a Pacquiao round. 7 and 6 and 4. 7, 6 and 4.
Okay.
But I could see if you gave it to Mayweather, because it was but I think that's why some people had it 10-2, some people have it 9-3, Some people had it 8-4. Some people had Pacquiao winning round 10, 7, 6, and 4.
I have Pacquiao winning 4, 6, 8, 10.
8? No, wait. 8? How 8?
He just landed. I counted the shoulder punches. I counted the chest punches. I counted everything I could. Now,
Okay.
the effectiveness and the power punches Floyd took, but I was just going by punch total per round. That's all.
Okay.
Back to the shoulder issue. What you need? Your impressions of all that?
With the shoulder issue, this is what I believe. I believe he really came in with an injured shoulder. Why do I say this? Because one, in his training camp, if you guys do remember, Freddie Roach was talking about, oh, he's throwing the left hand. They're trying to keep it positive, but they would say, oh, he's throwing the left hand, but we all know he ain't nothing but the right hand. Excuse me, one second, please.
Go to EJ Boxing Live. Your thoughts on the controversy surrounding the shoulder of Manny Pacquiao?
I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. Nothing. I ain't getting no. I'm like, let me just burn. You
I moved on. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I want to hear nothing at all. These guys are talking the most junk, right? And now they're looking sympathy. You ain't getting nothing. This is the fight game, right? You've been described as Hank Armstrong, homicide Hank. You think he would ever say that when he fought Sugar Ray Robinson? I'm talking, yo. You think Henry Armstrong would ever say that after he fought Sugar Ray Robinson when he had no money? Like, you talking about you being part with the old time greats. They don't make excuses. Yeah, don't make excuses, boy. Henry Armstrong, they don't make excuses. They go in there, they go in there, they take the beating. Even Mike Tyson, when he got beat up by Lennox Lewis, right? In that mega fight, he was getting banged over, man. You know, Mike Tyson he wasn't the Mike Tyson we know, but he didn't complain. He gave credit to Lewis, said he was the better guy, took his beating. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't do that. Like, when you do that, it just looks bad, looks real soft, looks real weak, and all the stuff people been saying about Mayweather running and ducking. If you look in the fight, I think I saw Pacquiao running in the fingers the 10th round when Mayweather went after him. Like, they was running in the fight from Pacquiao. And all the criticism laid on Mayweather looks bad on Pacquiao, cherry picking media hype fighter. I mean, I'm not saying that's true, but I'm just saying now we go look back on you. We're gonna put the magnifying glass back on you now. And you know what? End of the day, I don't want to hear nothing about your shoulder. I don't want to hear any of that. That stuff makes me first off, you didn't give credit after the fight. The first thing Max Keller asked you, what happened in the fight? First, you say you won the fight. So why you say after the fight that you was injured your shoulders? You didn't say nothing like that. Now we get back to the press conference. Oh yeah, my shoulder's not well. Why you say it then? You know what I mean? This is excuses, and it happens in boxing a lot of times when guys like, I mean, even George Foreman when he lost to Muhammad Ali. Oh yeah, there was something going up. They put, you know, they don't want to hear it. You know, sometimes you just eat the bullet, and regardless of what's ever happened in your life, whatever, you take it, give credit to the other guy, and let's move on. Even the rematch have been cool, but because this injury thing, I'm not buying it. I don't care about it. I'm not giving you no sympathy, and I'm good. That's all I gotta say about it.
Oh, by the way, he said God. I guess God would have healed his shoulder by then, so that could have happened. But what happened to God helping Manny Pacquiao that night?
Wow. What you need, followed by Sean and Mr. Boxer Guy. Your thoughts?
Right. So I was saying that Pacquiao hurt his hand in training, because not his arm in training, and he also hurt his legs in training. If you guys recall, if you guys were following the story, they had to get cream for his legs. Excuse me. Come on, man. All right. So he had to get cream for his legs so that he could actually stop the leg cramps that he had because he was overtraining by doing all that hill running, right? So no, he was injured. I always, when athletes say they were injured, they were injured. You know, they wouldn't lie about that. Mayweather's been injured before. He had rotator cuff problems. A lot of boxers have rotator cuff problems. You know who else had a rotator cuff problem? He's in the Mayweather camp. He's a champion writer, Mickey Bay. Mickey Bay won against Miguel Vasquez with a rotator cuff injury to his shoulder as well, right? So, and Mickey Bay said it after the fight, as you guys know. So, not after the fight, but after an interview after the fight, a couple days later, he talked about his shoulder, right? So these things happen in boxing. Now, Manny Pacquiao's team said that it was improving, and they were doing treatment. He got a recommendation from the doctor to rest the shoulder, right? He was supposed to rest that shoulder, and it would be all right. So he didn't tear his rotator cuff during training. It seems as though he strained the ligament that's in the arm. See, what keeps your arm in its socket is these different ligaments that hold it in place. Now, what happens is if you strain it, you actually limit range of motion. And what people don't understand is not that you can't use your arm, you can't use the shoulder, but some of the power and some of the strength in the shoulder actually diminishes when you have rotator cuff injury. Okay. Now, some people, you see the rotator cuffs, there are a number of different muscles, a number of different ligaments that are linked to different muscle groups. So depending on which of those ligaments actually are strained or torn brings about an effect on the arm. You understand what I'm saying? When you looked at Floyd Mayweather versus Jose Luis Castillo, the first fight, Floyd Mayweather had a rotator cuff injury. Now, how he actually tore his rotator cuff was because he was playing crazy the night before, and he's hitting the heavy bag with everything he had with his left hand. And he seemed as though he had a rotator cuff strain, and he went, and he not just pulled the thing, he ripped the thing, all right? And so he fought through the whole fight with a torn rotator cuff. But remember, you have many rotator cuffs, or many ligaments in that rotator cuff, so that you still can use the arm. Okay, so that's for those of the people who were saying we're still using his arm, raising his hands. It depends on which ligament was that actually tore in his arm. Okay, now having said that, here's the problem. I believe he actually tore the rotator cuff. Either he tore it in the fight, or he tore it in training, but it was a rotator cuff. It wasn't more than one rotator cuff, so he still had use in his arm. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's that for that. So yes, I believe he had the injury. That's why he actually went and had surgery, folks. That's the reason, okay? Now, having said that, if you're a boxer who has had either a pulled ligament in your rotator, or you are a boxer who has a torn rotator cuff, there are exercises you can use to strengthen your arm, all right? You don't always have to go to surgery. In this case, he chose to go the surgery route. Remember, Andre Ward also had a torn, maybe I think it was two torn rotator cuff, ligaments torn in his rotator cuff. And that's why he had to go and do surgery. And remember, Andre Ward fought for a long time with his right hand having that injury. So he had that injury for a very long time. So it's not that you can't use it, and that's why I say it's not an excuse for why he lost the fight. But, of course, if you can go in there at optimum capacity as a boxer, that would be the best thing, of course, right? So it's not the reason he lost the fight. Okay, it's not the reason he lost the fight. But as to the injury being real, absolutely, that was a real injury. Okay, now my problem with Manny Pacquiao is not that he had an injury. My problem was when he said that Floyd Mayweather did nothing, and he wouldn't acknowledge him at that point in time as the winner. The better man in the fight. That was my only problem. If he wanted to talk about rotator cuff injuries and all those things, I don't have a problem with that. Athletes go through that. I mean, I didn't like when the fans the last time booed Timothy Bradley when he started talking about his pulled calf muscle. I found that was bad, okay? Because Timothy Bradley, he had a real injury, and we saw that afterwards, right? He wasn't pretending. But similarly with Manny Pacquiao, I believe that he has a real injury. That was a real injury. Okay, and whether he injured it in the fight or not, he was good enough to fight the fight that he needed to fight. Some people said he didn't throw the right hook enough, but when you go back and watch the tape, he threw it a lot. But what happened was his hook is looping. He has a big looping right hook, and he has a nice check hook as well. He has a short, compact check hook, but That check hook is for when you're coming in. But he tries to counter you over your jab. But what Mayweather did, so that you guys can understand the breakdown, when he threw the jab, Mayweather has this capacity to change the jab into a hook. He can hook you at the last minute and change that jab into a hook and knock you sideways and throw your whole equilibrium off, and then that's why it looked the way it did. So his right hook wasn't effective against Mayweather because it was too looping. And what Pacquiao does, he loops the hook so it can get out of your field of vision and come back and hit you. But that takes a long time to get there, you see, versus a very short, compact hook that Mayweather, and he can throw a jab and trick you, so you're going to try and hook over that jab, and then he throws it into a hook. You see what I'm saying? Mayweather's I'm telling you, I'm still trying to figure out how to beat the guy, okay? So I'm just letting you guys know, you know, he's tricky. Very difficult.
Quickly, boxing addict Sean, your comments on the injury to Manny Pacquiao and how it may have affected him in the fight.
I'll go quickly on this one. I think what you need basically covered most of it there. I pretty much agree with him on most of the things he said there. He obviously did have a problem because he did ask to have an injection a couple of weeks before the fight, didn't he? So there was a problem somewhere on the lines. Did it hamper him in the fight? Possibly a little bit. There were times, and I touched on it before, where Pacquiao had a little bit of success with Mayweather up against the ropes, and he couldn't sustain it, and he had to step back. Now, I don't know whether that was because he didn't want to flurry too much and tire himself out, or whether he did have a problem with the shoulder. Could have been a bit of both. I don't think he'd have won the fight anyway, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. Go on, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why people complain about it not being true. I mean, obviously he was injured. I mean, but like we say, in boxing, it's not unusual. Hayes' whole career has been up and down based on injury in the last few years. So, I mean, once you pass 30 years old, I mean, injuries become a part of life. So we know these athletes fight through it and do it. And, of course, when you fight a top-level guy and you're not quite your best, it's going to impact you a bit. And, I mean, not just that. I mean, from day to day, your body feels different. And some days you perform at a level where you feel, boom. Other times, not quite that level. But that has nothing to do with this. Floyd won the fight, and it's just a shame that now we just have to listen to all this back and forth about this fucking thing, you know, and everything else that's going on. Like Gail said, it's a sport, you bet. If people didn't think that maybe there was an injury, then they weren't paying attention. And as far as Marky Mark, I mean, he was in the training session, so I mean, if Manny had issues, he should have been able to witness it on his own. I mean, we know he was sparring less for this fight than he's ever sparred before. Why do you do that? Because you're hurt and you can't spar as much and you're trying to like maintain your body and not like burn it out. I mean, and then they even said that he was fighting one day sparring with just his left hand. When do you spar with your strong hand? Like I can see sparring with his right hand, which he needs to get ready, have more weapons to fight Floyd, but we know he's got a good left hand. So there's no need for that. You know, I just think that we can not dwell on this issue because, you know, it's just one aspect of boxing, one fight. There's lots of great things going on, and we should put our energy towards all this positive stuff as opposed to always growing in this negativity and going on and on. 6 years we've waited. It's done. Okay.
Hear, hear.
Before we move on, I'll just ask around a question. You want to say something, J. Dill?
No, I said amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One more question before we can move on, and I'll just ask around. Anybody can respond quickly as possible, please. All this talk about rematch. Do any of you guys want to see it, and why?
Yes. Go back in there again. Yeah, go back. Yeah, I want to see it again. I love to see that rematch again. Trust me. I want to see it again. Trust me, I enjoyed it, and you know, Manny gonna try again, and he's gonna get another beating, and I'm gonna enjoy it again. There's not enough, man. 5 years and you 12 rounds. I mean, Mayweather's come out and said he want to do a 15 rounder. I love that. I love that if they done 15 rounds. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I had some Manny Pacquiao fans jump them off the bridge, and there's so much things coming out of this. Like, I'm enjoying this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying the whole thing. I think they should do a rematch, and I would love to see it. And you know what? All you guys saying you don't want to see it, all you guys are gonna watch it, whether you don't like it or not. and Mayweather's gonna put another beating on him again. So I want to see the rematch. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I don't enjoy everything in the aftermath. I don't look. Y'all know how I feel about Mayweather, how he acts outside the ring. But the one thing I will defend Mayweather on, well, a few things. One of the few things I will defend Mayweather on is when trolls come after him, and the ugly racist trolls that he's been receiving after this bout on social media, on YouTube, on Twitter. I don't like that at all.
Well, you know me.
I just have to put it out there.
You know me. I let them know what it is. If you guys have been watching my comments online, I've been tearing into people. So.
And that's part of the reasons why I don't want to see a rematch. But I'll let anybody else who want to respond. Rematch, yay, nay, and quickly give you reasons.
I want to see the rematch because I want to see what Mayweather would do differently in this one. Because every time he rematches, he's more sharp than the first time.
Yep.
I want to see if he can knock him out this time.
Yes, sir. That's what I want to see.
I don't need to see a rematch because I already saw what I need to see. It's just like with Marcos Maidana 2. I knew what was going to happen. So I was just amused that Marcos Maidana actually caught him in the 3rd round. But other than that, there was nothing else to see. I knew that there's no case. It wasn't a close fight.
I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but for God's sakes, give us a decent undercard.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Gail, you forgot about the money. Maybe they should put the money down. Gail, maybe they should put the money down as well, right? It shouldn't be $100, right?
Well, but you know what? Why do they have to lower the price? They got it. They got $100 over and over five times 5.6 million. They're not going to drop the price. So they don't need to.
I don't know, man. I don't know if anyone's gonna buy it. I mean, girl, you get free credentials. That's a good question. I don't know if anyone would buy it if you put the price back up to 100.
Hey, if you have Terrence Crawford against Garcia or Broner by the end, and then you have, let's say, Keith Thurman versus Kell Brook.
Ain't gonna happen. No point. They ain't gonna be.
Talking about on the undercard.
Nah, they ain't gonna happen. So there's no point. You know they ain't gonna do that. They're gonna put a cheap undercard. They don't want to give no one no money. So they're gonna charge. If they charge 100, I might have to live stream it. But like, I mean, I'm not about that. But I want to see the rematch. That's me anyway.
What's the use of having a rematch? What exactly are we going to expect?
We're moving on though. We're moving. Let everyone give their little take. Go ahead, Mr. Boxing Addict, Sean.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give my 2 pence worth. I do not want to see the rematch in the slightest. I love EJ's enthusiasm, but man,
because I want to make even more money than I did the first time. So yeah.
Mr. Boxing, I want it.
Like, listen. I'll give it to you. Yeah. And so I actually love Mayweather. I love watching him fight. Regards to everybody thinking he's boring, etc. I don't agree with that. I love watching him fight. He's incredible in what he does. But everybody knew going into this fight that he would win a points decision. A lot of people were going with their heart, of course, and I was a little bit, wanted Manny to put up a good show and possibly win it. But Mayweather's Mayweather, and he does what he does, and he does it exceptionally well, and he won the fight well, and it's done for me. Manny is getting older as well. He ain't going to bring anything new to the table, even with a better shoulder. And like you say, he may well knock him out next time. But I just don't want to. I don't want to spend the months to build up. I thought it was a bit of a letdown to the fans. I know to fans of Mayweather, fans of Manny, and to hardcore boxing fans, we were excited about the fight. But I don't think it really. It wasn't a Holyfield Tyson, a Lewis Tyson, some of these big fights that have happened over the years, which lived up to the expectations. It didn't live up to the expectations, apart from the hardcore boxing fan who could appreciate it. So for me, I don't want to see it again. I want to see Thurman in there with whoever, Mayweather, Mayweather Brook, Mayweather Con, whatever. That's my take on it,
Manny Pacquiao versus Triple G. That's what I want to see next. That's the
Oh my God! Right.
Oh come on, no.
Hey, they say.
I'm gonna let you say that comment. Let you cook on that EJ. I want to go to Sean on this. I want to go to Sean on this because no.
They say inflation fight.
Hilarious, man.
Michael Floyd fight Triple G, and Manny Pacquiao can't fight Triple G. Manny Pacquiao's fought at 154. why and Triple G's gonna come down to 154. So why can't Manny Pacquiao fight Triple G?
Manny Pacquiao cannot make 154.
He fought at 154. He won a belt at 154. He beat Margarito. Everyone's fighting now. Yeah. So Floyd. Go ahead.
In the past, you know, he barely weighed 145 pounds at the weigh-in for this fight, and that was only because he ate a full lunch before the weigh-in. When's the last time you heard that?
Wait, EJ. He came in at 152 pounds on fight night. Guess what weight Mayweather came in at?
149.
That's right.
Bullshit.
Yeah, no, that's the truth.
No, it's true.
Not because he didn't fucking show his weight.
Yeah.
No, they did. The Nevada State Athletic Commission weighed him.
They didn't show him because he refused to get weighed in the last Maidana fight.
He was weighed. He was weighed.
That's how much he came in. So he should fight Triple G. He should fight.
No, it's not.
Mayweather should fight Triple G.
No, he should fight Triple G, and then after that he'll get a shot at Mayweather. But that's what I want to see. Go ahead.
I was going to say that. I predicted that Manny Pacquiao would come in on fight night, the unofficial weight, heavier than Mayweather, because I looked at Manny Pacquiao's weight on fight night. Against Chris Algieri was 149. Against Timothy Bradley was 151. Mayweather has never on fight night come in above 150 pounds. People don't know this.
How much did he weigh in the Maidana 2 fight? You're going to say he was under 150
First Maidana fight, he came in at 146 pounds. Second Maidana fight, he wasn't weighed. But from his history of weighing, he never gets above 150 pounds. And true to form, Mayweather's a professional athlete. And what people don't understand, he's a professional athlete, but what people do not understand is that Mayweather never goes above a certain weight professionally when he goes in the ring. Notice he weighed in at 146 pounds again. He always weighs in at that, all the time. So I just wanted people to know that the bigger fighter in weight was Manny Pacquiao on fight night.
Yeah,
and
Manny
this is
Pacquiao.
Interesting.
That's right, Manny Pacquiao for Triple G. Let's go, man. Let's go. I want to see that one.
Yeah.
That should be good.
No.
Dreams, man. Dreams.
I do not want to see that fight. And
That's gonna be a great fight.
I'm with what you need in terms of the rematch between Mayweather and Pacquiao. We've seen it before. See, this fight, this is going to be Pernell Whitaker, Buddy McGirt all over again. It's exactly what it's going to be. McGirt came into the Whitaker fight the first time in '93 with an injured shoulder that he hurt before his mandatory defense against Gennaro Leon. He fought Leon, injured it even further, and everybody knew going into the fight with Whitaker March '93 the first time, he had a bad shoulder. He got the surgery. He got the surgery, but he was never the same again. And when he fought the rematch against Whitaker October '94 in Norfolk, Virginia, Whitaker beat him worse. Could have stopped him if he really wanted to. It's going to be the same way with Mayweather and Pacquiao. I don't think that Pacquiao, who's getting old to begin with, I don't think he's going to be exactly the same post-surgery that he was even prior to this fight. He had declined before this fight. We all know that.
Yeah, that's
He fights Mayweather again. It's even going to be less of a mismatch. It's going to be much more of a mismatch. Why see that? I'm with what you need on that 100%.
You know why? Because they don't believe he lost. That's why they believe he. They believe
a few don't believe he lost.
The whole of the Philippines believe that. What are you talking? The whole of the Philippines believe that you know he only had his shoulder. He really goes back in there. They want him to go win. That's a whole country behind him. That's why.
But they're blinded. You know that.
No, I'm with them. Let's go see it again. I'm enjoying. Let's go there again. I'm on mine.
Here's what's gonna happen. No great fighter likes to go out on a loss. No.
That's right.
Manny will fight again. He can do a victory lap kind of fight in Macau for his Asian fans. You know, it'll be an opponent, you know, somewhat on the level of Algieri, you know, somebody of that ilk. He'll win, and then he can say goodbye. And he'll bank
Jesse Vargas.
Last fight in Asia.
Hey, Canelo will be a good fight for you at 154. That'll be good.
I actually had Pacquiao win against Canelo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Canelo. You know what? Because he's standing in front of him.
I don't know about that.
Canelo's way too big.
Yeah.
You know what?
way too big.
You know what? They won't. If he says they'll run now, these guys are just meant to Triple G and Canelo. They ain't gonna run if you think they're gonna run. They'll be in front of you. Don't worry about that. So let's see that. And you know what?
Canelo's too slow for Pacquiao.
And you know what? You know the rotator cuff you were saying. Good point. Someone pointed out. Carl Froch, when he fought Andre Ward, he had a rotator cuff. When he won the fight, he was complaining, but he continued to fight, man. I mean, Pacquiao continued to fight, but you could see that he only had one arm if you're watching the replay. So Manny Pacquiao was still throwing punches, but if he said he had an injury, I'm not the guy in the ring. So more power to him. Go ahead, Mike.
The problem is we all know that Manny fights one way, basically. Canelo has the greater capacity to adjust, so he can switch things up on the second fight in the rematch against Pacquiao. That's the difference.
Canelo.
And Canelo is a huge guy, man. He's not a small guy.
Hey, he can fight 150. Pacquiao can fight 154. That'll be a good fight. Pacquiao always beats bigger guys.
But first, the question is, can Canelo make 154?
Well, I don't know what weight they're gonna come in. Probably do a catch weight anyway. Look, he beat up Cotto.
He can make 154, no doubt about it. When he's fighting, when he's fighting Sergio Martinez, he only weighs 155. He couldn't even go up to the full 160 pounds. He can make 154.
I understand that.
Cotto.
Manny Pacquiao.
I'm talking about. You said I'm meaning Cotto. You talking about Canelo?
Yeah,
Canelo.
Canelo's a big boy.
I don't understand.
Canelo, yeah.
Manny Pacquiao's beat the middleweight champion, current middleweight champion right now, Miguel Cotto. He's beat him already, and he's at one. Come on, man. So he can.
Yeah, but hang on. Look at Pacquiao in his last fight with Mayweather. Mayweather looks significantly bigger. I mean, whatever you say about the weight, he looks a lot bigger. Now you can't put him in there with GGG or Canelo.
No.
And Canelo is an inch taller than Mayweather.
Oh, come on, what is this? Listen. And Oscar De La Hoya, is taller than Margarita. I don't understand that. So what are we saying here? Like, he can go in with the bigger guys. He's quicker. He's going to have more maneuverability. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about, with GGG, yeah? He's a guy who we're talking about going up to 168 to fight Ward.
No, I didn't say 168.
He's a small guy.
154.
No, Pacquiao is the same size as Mayweather, but the thing about Pacquiao is he's 5'6", and he has a 67-inch reach, I think it is.
66.
He and Marquez are the same size. That's why I couldn't understand how they could say Pacquiao could beat Mayweather. I don't get it.
I don't understand you. Like, they should have.
I never got that part.
Manny Pacquiao's like Henry Armstrong, yeah. So if he's like Henry Armstrong, you can fight at 160. He's the same height as him. Should be able to move up to 160. So this
Mayweather can't fight at 160. Mayweather can't fight at 160. How's Pacquiao doing that?
Just don't want to fight. Of course he can fight at 160. Whether he be competitive at 160, he's not.
Mayweather can't even make the minimum weight for 160. How's he going to do that?
Mayweather is fighting at his optimal strongest weight, but they can fight at that weight. So whether they be competitive.
No. Mayweather's never went above 150 pounds. How's he going to make it? What are you going to do? Put leads in his body, on his pockets?
Listen,
and put him on
Do it.
Go like Sugar Ray Leonard, what he did with Dylan Line and put coins in his pockets during the weigh-in.
Come on, man.
Why does
These are small welterweights. Mayweather. Pacquiao, they're small welterweights.
All I'm hearing is excuses.
What are you talking about, man?
They can fight, man. They can fight. Let's go, man.
You got the guys maxing out at 152, 53, and you telling me go fight 155 to 160 pounder. How are you doing that?
Don't let me see.
Mayweather has no need to do any of that. He is in the driver's seat. People are going to watch him no matter what. He'd be a fool to risk himself at that level.
But he can't make 160. He could make 154. The basal level of 154, like 151 up. But he can't make 160. It's not possible.
In fact, it would be even a bigger fool to fight at 160.
Now, the night of the fight, I asked Gennady Golovkin's publicist, would Gennady come down to 154? And he said, for Floyd, absolutely yes. That doesn't mean Floyd will go for it. And he'd be great.
Manny Pacquiao would. Let's go, man. That's what I'm saying. Manny Pacquiao.
No. I'm with what you need on this one, 100%. No.
Besides, why would Golovkin hurt himself? He's 167 pounds. Why would he hurt himself to go down to 154?
Look, Gel said it. Gel
doesn't make no sense either.
Down to 154. He can
For the money? Yeah,
So
but
my thing,
oh,
if
come
he's
on.
going to make 154, you do it for Mayweather. You don't do it for Pacquiao at this point.
Yeah.
No way.
Exactly.
Why not? Why don't you do Pacquiao is one of the elite guys in his era? Why would you do that? Why don't I understand?
Because the money's with Mayweather, man. This is a money
But it's with
business.
Mayweather.
That's right.
Money, baby.
You got. Listen. One rule.
But I still don't see it happening. I can never.
Gilda said she talked to his publisher, so he said he would. Always one rule.
I think Triple G can make the weight, but it's not worth it for Pacquiao.
I think Triple G will compromise himself to make that weight. He's too big right now.
Go
I
ahead,
think
Joe.
he would. I think he would. You have to remember, too, that all of this is balanced on risk versus reward. And you have to make enough money to cover the risk to yourself. That's why Triple G has such a hard time getting quality opponents. Because right now, he's on the brink of being a big enough draw so that the purses are big enough because the viewership's big enough and the ticket sales are big enough that then someone says, okay, you're paying me enough to take the risk. Up to now, that's been the problem. It's not that guys won't fight him. It's that guys aren't getting enough money to fight him. We're going to need to see how well he draws at the Forum in Los Angeles. I hear ticket sales are going very well. 2 weeks for a week and a half from now, week from Saturday. And then we'll see, what kind of money is available, and that's going to determine who his next big opponent is.
Let's move on.
And tonight they're already talking. The Amir Khan camp is talking about. Well, maybe we can wiggle around Ramadan. So get ready for that.
Let's move on and talk about this trash undercard as far as I'm concerned. Leo Santa Cruz fighting Cayetano or whatever how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I pronounce his name wrong.
Cayetano.
Vasyl Lomachenko defeating a fighter by the name of Rodriguez, stopping him in 9 rounds. Any of you guys can chime in. Well, I'll go with Sean on this one. He hadn't talked in a while.
I'm sorry.
Santa Cruz, my problem was, yes, he won, but he fought a C-level guy, a nondescript opponent. Sean, how you gonna sit there with some validity, claim that you're making your featherweight debut against a guy who fought at 122 pounds his entire career? This was a joke of a matchup, and it's high time. I'm saying it right now. It's high time that Leo Santa Cruz step up and fight a guy. I don't care who it is at this point. At 122, 126, these bum opponents that he's fighting the last 3 fights. It's annoying me. It really is.
Well, let me finish on the last point where I never had a chance. I'm against the rematch, but if they had a rematch, which leads into this point, it's cool if they had good prelim fights. If they were building up young fighters and putting them in great matches so that casual fans would get a chance to see them and build on boxing, as opposed to just one person take all the money and not share it and not build on anything. It would be a great opportunity to display some of these great fighters we have in boxing and give them a chance in a format with 5.6 million people to show themselves. Following on that, it is an Al Heyman card. And we had Santa Cruz as the fight just before the main fight, fighting a bum, no-name guy. In his third fight, fighting a bum, no-name guy. But this is an Al Heyman fighter. And one thing he's been consistent is putting fights that are mismatches and protecting his fighters. People can say, wow, he's redoing boxing and he's doing a great job. But he's yet to put on a great fight yet. Lomo, which was the HBO top-ranked fighter, at least he was in with a guy that's fought people before. He was in there against a guy that had fought named. I mean, he wasn't at the level of Lomachenko. We would have liked to see him against Walters or something, but I mean, they're building that fight up, so that's understandable. But at least the top-ranked fight that they put on was a little better, a little more, what you would consider like a legitimate fight. Santa Cruz has been protected his last 3 fights. Hopefully his next fight he'll be put in with somebody. I mean, the talk is he'll be put in with Mares, and that's a good fight, and it'd be good to see it, but I have Mares beating him. So that'll save all this trouble, and then we won't have to worry about it too much afterwards, will we? And he can go back down and maybe fight Donaire. So whatever happens, I mean, if they have a rematch, let's just hope that this time they put on great fighters and give us a chance to build on boxing as opposed to take away from it. And as far as Floyd fighting GGG, Floyd is the undefeated TBE in boxing. So if somebody was able to step up and take on a challenge and be an underdog once in his fucking career, maybe that could be Floyd. Manny, hating on him, we know Manny just got knocked out by Marquez, but he keeps fighting. And then he fought the #1, the TBE in boxing, all-time best, you know, so it's no wonder he lost. Wanting Manny to move up to fight Canelo and GGG, that's just being hateful and just avoiding the truth. And the truth is, in his career, Floyd has never been the underdog, and that's just a fact. Manny has been underdog before, more than once, quite a few times.
Corrales fight was underdog.
Huh?
The Corrales was
He
underdog.
wasn't the underdog against Corrales. He was the HBO brought-up fighter. Corrales was just the guy that had a big name.
It was the underdog. It was the underdog against Angel Man Freddy. It was the underdog against
He
Janelle.
was the underdog against Angel Man Freddy. Give me a break.
Angel Man Freddy was
Hey, Sean, stop it. You woke the dog up.
Yeah, because the guys defend Floyd, and then they just
Stop poking the dog.
talking about him.
Wait. We're talking over each other. We're talking over each other. Calm down,
One
everybody.
person at a time.
Yeah, one person at a time. We're talking over each other.
He just wants to talk over everybody consistently. And then he wants to hate on dudes and talk bullshit. Like, I mean, if fucking Floyd is so great, have him fucking step up for a challenge. Don't fucking put it on Manny after doing it, because Manny has lost him.
You sound hurt, boy. Listen.
Respond, AJ. Respond.
Now you know what? No, Sean. Now Sean's got a good point. Sean's got a good point. But listen to this: when Manny stepped up to fight Oscar De La Hoya, people were threatening for Manny's life. They thought Oscar De La Hoya was going to murder him. I'm saying Manny could possibly beat Canelo. He could beat Triple G. He could do. He said you're worried about Manny, understandable. But what I'm saying to you,
I'm not worried, but you just do this.
I'm not being hateful. No, I'm not being hateful. He's fought at 154. I didn't say 160. I said 154. He's fought at 154. So it's not like I'm going out my realm here. He's not being hateful and stuff. Come on, man. It's a bit hard, isn't it? Like, end of the day, it's not about being underdog. If you're undefeated, then you're going to be the favorite. You know what I'm trying to say to you most of the time? I mean, why does it, you know, end of the day, he's proved himself, Floyd has, yeah? And I'm saying Manny if Manny wants to get another shot at Floyd, TBE, the best ever of all time, this generation, the fighter of the decade he should have been, I'm saying Manny should fight Triple G or Canelo. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not hate.
To step up is Floyd. He's the undefeated guy who's looking for a challenge.
Who just won that fight, Sean? Who just won that fight a minute? Who just won that fight? So that's what I'm saying to you. So you don't have to prove anything, Sean. You know what I'm saying?
Floyd is the guy who needs to step up and pick a challenge.
Listen, guys.
We've just lost every viewer we ever had.
Both guys are the same. Both guys are the same size. Both guys are the same weight. Here's the thing, right? Triple G is not fighting either of them because Triple G is a middleweight. He's a middleweight, folks. Let's think now. He's a middleweight. If he goes down to 154, he's going to be weakened. Now he can say what he wants. He's going to be weakened. And guess what's the problem with Triple G? He's slow-footed. So if Pacquiao fights him, if Mayweather fights him, they have a speed advantage on Triple G from the get.
Thank you. So they got, thank you.
So it's not a fair fight. Triple G should stay at middleweight.
Triple G
leave those guys at welterweight, and let's just forget about it. And you know what those guys will do? Pacquiao will say, well, if he can go down to 54, let him come down to 153. Mayweather will say, if he can come down to 154, let him come down to 152. Because they're going to drain him more. That's the way how the game's played.
There you go. That's correct.
It doesn't make sense for Triple G to fight either guy. But if he wants to, fine.
I agree with you.
I don't think
he needs to. He should remain the A side wherever he fights.
Good point. But this the thing is that they put in Floyd out there, so I'm saying wherever you put Floyd out there, Manny's right behind them. That's what I'm saying.
But if you really examine that fight, those two guys are ambush fighters. They're not really stick and move, and they're gonna. Triple G will be such target practice, and we don't need that right now. What we need is Triple G to build his career, build his reputation. He's on the rise. He doesn't need that.
No, he doesn't.
So that's it. That's the end of that. Then good point. Let's move on.
Can we go back on top and talk about the undercard? Anybody?
I was going to say, Leo Santa Cruz, he fought at featherweight, ladies and gentlemen, at featherweight. When he fought this guy, he stepped up in weight, so he's no longer super bantamweight, and he fought at featherweight. So he was feeling out how it feels to be a featherweight and to deal with a featherweight with featherweight power.
Well, the guy he fought at junior featherweight, though, most of his career, just about all of his career. So did he really fight a featherweight?
He's an appropriate opponent to step up at that higher level. You see, if people understand levels in boxing, they'll understand you have to, even though he became world champion, Leon Santa Cruz, he has a lot still to develop in his career. That's why Rigondeaux is a no-no for Leo Santa Cruz. He's a no-no. Keep him far away from Leo. Keep Leo as far away from Guillermo Rigondeaux. He might say, yes, I want to fight Rigondeaux. No, you're not ready for Rigondeaux, okay?
No, I agree with that. Yeah, and bear in mind, it was a 10-round fight for a reason. I think he'd come up in weight. And that was appropriate for Santa Cruz to do.
Yep.
But it wasn't appropriate for him to do it on the undercard of this fight.
Well, I guess
it wasn't appropriate for him to fight a junior featherweight and then call it a featherweight fight. That's my thing. If you're going to make a step, fight a legit guy who's fought at the weight. Don't fight a guy who's been fighting below the weight and then move up and then act like that's a real debut when it's not.
But the guy he took the fight on very short notice. He is a construction worker in Tijuana, a few miles south of me. He doesn't even fight full time. It was crazy, the whole thing. But
he gave him a good fight, though.
Yeah, he did.
He surprisingly gave him a good fight, and good for him. And I don't blame him for taking the fight. That's a whole year's pay that he got. Even though I think he only got paid $20,000 to make the fight.
That's a lot of money, man.
To a guy who works construction in Mexico, yeah, that's a lot of money. But that is a fight they should have done on a premier boxing card. Not on the undercard of this fight.
Yeah.
Bad call.
It's true.
Lomachenko looked good. Wasn't the greatest fight. I enjoy watching him, and hopefully he'll get a fight worthy of him. And the day that he and Walter step into the ring, I will be in the front row. I can't wait.
Let me ask the question across the table. Lomachenko Walters, what do you guys feel about? What are Lomachenko's chances against Walters?
No. Keep him away from Walters for now.
Yeah, I think he needs another year or two before we get to see that. Yep. But I do want to see that. I don't need to see it tomorrow, but I do need to see it.
J. Dill, boxing addict, your thoughts?
Santa Cruz shows that he has no power at 126. Number two, his defense sucks. He looks like a watered down with more length, Brandon Rios. A guy he went up against had a losing streak going on. I think he got knocked out in his last fight, or he just lost his last fight, the construction worker. And every time Santa Cruz throws some shots, that guy would throw a hook at him or an uppercut. And Santa Cruz, it's just, I'm sick of hearing him say, yeah, I want Abner Mares when you were supposed to fight Frampton and Quigg and Rigondeaux. And 1 minute, you don't want to fight Rigondeaux. Next minute, you say you'll take on Rigondeaux. But then you take on these bullshit-ass fights and shit. And you ain't proving nothing. And I'm sick of people in my boxing circle calling you Pussy Cruz. Because, you're taking on pussy opponents. You're better than these opponents. Now fight some top 15, top 10 guys. I want to see what you're made of. You only could get better when you fight some stiff competition. You can never get better by fighting sparring partners. I'm sorry, it's just not how it goes. That's not how it works. And if you're a media hype fighter, then I'm not going to watch any of your fights until you fight somebody for real. And even then, I'm going to stream that shit and laugh at your ass while eating some popcorn. And then after that, when you get outclassed, I'll just be like, yep, I told you so. And I'll probably... So, Santa Cruz, I'm snoring on him right now. So let me know when he fights a top 15, top 10 guy. And then...
Like Gary Russell Jr., they were feeding him, these soft touches and... Then when he faces a real challenge, he can't handle it.
Exactly.
I'll go to you on this one, Boxing Addict. Your thoughts on Lomachenko and the prospect of him against the Walters per se down the line?
Well, I was just going to touch on Santa Cruz, if that's all right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think everyone's been a little bit harsh on him personally. I think he's a very decent fighter. He stepped up there, didn't he, in a bit of a bullshit fight. I think he's just basically, he's one of these Al Heyman dark side fighters now, isn't he? Where he's just being sort of moved along and he's fighting these bums and he's not really doing anything. He's making a little bit of money and he's moving him along.
A little bit.
Yeah, he needs
$750,000 is more than a little bit. That's what he made for his last fight.
Well, that's it.
Fight.
That's it. He's making this money, but he's not really fighting anybody, is he? I think he'll go back down in weight, and I think he'll try and get a fight with Quigg or Frampton later this year. I think that's got to happen because all the fans are calling for it now. He's getting a lot of grief, isn't he? So they've got to get him a big fight. But he put on a decent performance against a nobody, of course. But going back to the whole undercard, it was all crap, wasn't it, really? Lomachenko gave it a bit of a go, didn't he? He looked all right. I really like Lomachenko. I think he will be one of the top guys, you know. I'd like to see him in with Walters. I think it's a bit too soon yet. But, yeah, both performances were average for me against average guys, you know.
Before we move, go ahead.
I like to see Lomachenko fight Simpiwe Figueroa. No, I think that would be a good fight for him. You know, some good experience.
That's a nice fight, actually.
Yeah, I'd like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, skill against skill. You know, a counterpuncher against a guy with a southpaw that could fight in circles and could just fight at angles. That's a guy who throws offense at angles, not Pacquiao. But you know, I like that Lomachenko fight. At first, Rodriguez was giving him some go and hit him with left hooks and stuff, but Lomachenko adjusted, went to his body a lot, and eventually just outclassed him and up his level and his gear to another level, throwing more punches and just start dominating him to the point where, you know, they had to quit the fight. You know, that's the type of performance Santa Cruz was supposed to do, but he just couldn't do it. And Lomachenko against Figueroa will be a very competitive fight. Now, I don't know who's going to win, but I will say it'll be fireworks, folks. That'll be fireworks.
I like that fight. I like that fight on maybe an undercard of an After Dark or something like that on HBO. Even a main event on an After Dark. That's a very good fight. I didn't think of that, but yeah. Good looking out for that one because that's a good fight. Let's move on. Before we preview, I should say, the fights that's happening this weekend, I'm going to go to you on this one, Sean. You tipped me on this fight. Took place yesterday as Takashi Uchiyama, junior lightweight champion, defended his belt, destroying a Thai fighter by the name of Jamthong in 2 rounds. Beautiful right hand that took Jamthong out. Uchiyama, as far as I'm concerned, the best at 130 pounds. Of the current crop, I don't see anybody beating him right now. Big fight coming up, possible against Mura, the WBC champ. I'm gonna give you the floor right now since you saw the fight and you shared it with me, Sean. Your thoughts on Takashi Uchiyama?
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, he's the top guy at that division. It's just a shame that Mikey Garcia looks like he's moving up because that was the fight everyone was sort of hoping would be the pinnacle at that weight. You know, 2 great fighters, and then also, you know, I mean, the Asian fighters, you know, sometimes they have great records and they have lots of belts, but they haven't been exposed to North American audiences and North American fighters. So it's always interesting to see if they're really that good, or once they step up to a different level, if they sort of are exposed. With a fighter like him, I mean, he's a big puncher, but I mean, you know, you can hit him. And in the first fight with Mura, he was knocked down and then came back and ended up stopping him. And, you know, that looks to be what they're setting up the rematch. Mura just beat Billy Dib, which was a good fight. He looked like he was being outclassed by Dib, but the question was when was he going to land a punch, and when he landed the punch in the corner, Dib was just out cold. So, you know, that looks like it'll be a good fight, probably sometime later in the year. You know, they always like to have big ones for New Year's, so that could be the big fight then. But if you haven't seen Uchiyama, he's worth watching. I mean,
He
he's
is.
an aggressive puncher, and I mean that right hand you hit that guy with, man, stops him quick. And I mean, the fighting, you know, he's not a bum. He was like a really young, up-and-coming guy who they had high hopes for. And he's tall and rangy, and they figured he would be able to use his jab and stay on the outside, right? And outbox Uchiyama, but that didn't last.
It was a mismatch. The guy was a kickboxer.
Yeah. But he is a well-respected guy who they're building up. I mean, yeah.
He got
fighter.
Yeah, he was a Thai fighter. He was a mismatch. He blew him up. It was that guy wasn't. It wasn't even that class. It was a young guy, but he's got record. He's got a long record in like you said, Muay Thai, in kickboxing. He got blown out. That was a mismatch. He's just. You don't even know the guy. The only guy he's the other Japanese guy. He called him out at the end of the fight. So hopefully them two can get it on. Other than that, he's just fighting Bidman. He's fighting cab drivers. That guy. I mean, the reason why he blew him up because Japan and Thailand, they have a long rivalry. They really go at each other. So he wasn't going to hang around with him. As soon as you saw that, he went straight after him, bro. He went straight off. That right hand was devastating, but that guy couldn't live with him. It was supposed to happen. So you know what I'm saying. So that's what I got to say about that. And the other guy, Ryo Chijoji as well, underneath as well. He blew the guy out as well. It was mismatches, but that's what I got to say about that.
Hey Sean, what would you think about a fight with Uchiyama against somebody like a Barthélemy?
But Barthélemy is moving to 140. So that's why
he is.
Yeah,
that's Rance.
Moving to 140.
Rance is
the Cuban guy.
He's moving up. He's moving up to 140.
140 is going to be a packed division because all those 135 guys that had talent are all moving up. So Uchiyama, after he beats Miura, that's what he should do too. He should move up to 140 because I mean that is stacked. I
wouldn't mind seeing him fight Gamboa at 30 or 35.
Yeah. He's a little bigger than Gamboa. That would be a good
fight. Salido would be a good fight or a good test.
Salido's done now.
He gained though. He's gained.
Maybe he should fight Roman Martinez, who just beat Salido.
Roman Martinez is pretty good. I'll give you that.
Yeah. He didn't look like Mikey Garcia, but he looked good against Salido. So it'll be interesting to see what he does against a guy like Uchiyama, right? Styles, matchups.
That'll be a good fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on and talk about what's happening this weekend. Headlined, of course, by Canelo Alvarez fighting James Kirkland in Houston. Also in Texas, happening early in the day, Omar Figueroa is fighting Ricky Burns in the junior welterweight battle. Let's focus on Alvarez and Kirkland first. I will go to you on this one, Gail. Alvarez, Canelo Alvarez. He's there. He's a legit star in the sport. You have to admit it. Fighting a junior middleweight champion. It's an over the weight bout, I believe it is. My problem with this, I worry about James Kirkland, Gail, minus Ann Wolf. She brought something to him. He was a beast. Notice when Ann Wolf is with him, he doesn't really get hurt, but when he's without her, he gets knocked down or he gets hurt. It's something that she brings out the beast in this dude, and against a guy like Canelo, knowing that Kirkland is hittable, he fights one way. I just think the diversity of Canelo will be too much for a Kirkland. Kirkland's going to make it a fight, no doubt about it. He's coming forward. He's going to land his share of shots. But Canelo, to his credit, he can take a punch. He can really take a punch. And I just think his overall skill will just be too much for Kirkland in the end. And as I said before, I just don't trust the James Kirkland without Ann Wolf in his corner.
I agree. Kirkland is so erratic. And he's up, he's down, he's had some disastrous fights. He's had some great fights. But the good ones have all been with Ann Wolf. What also is a problem with a fighter who skips around with trainers like he has, that signals something more important than just the physical training. Those are mental, emotional decisions when you go back and forth with trainers, and like boyfriends and girlfriends who get together and they break up and they go back together and they break up again. I mean, it's just a mess, and he needs to focus. he should not be spending that kind of mental, emotional energy on the training situation and those relationships. They need to be solid. They need to be something you can count on so you can focus on the training at hand. And when you're not, you have really set yourself up at a disadvantage. And that is baggage you carry into the ring. Despite all his talents, it's with him, it's a mental game that he loses first. And then that causes him to have problems in the fight. Canelo is a very focused young man. You know, we have to remind ourselves, you know, he's been around a while. He is very young. He's 23 years old. You know, he carries himself like he's 10 years older than that. It was interesting to watch him on Media Day, which was held just literally down the street from me in San Diego, where he now has a home and trains. He is mature beyond his years. He handles the media beautifully. He walks around with a self-assuredness that you just sense. Guys like Kirkland, you know, when they've got all those problems in their background, they're beaten before they step in the ring mentally, and that's where he loses. So I think he is going to make this the kind of entertaining fight that fans expected, you know, who don't know better, last weekend. And I hope a lot of them do stick around, do get to see Canelo in action. They'll like what they see. That's the best possible remedy for anybody that was upset about last weekend.
EJ Boxing Live, your thoughts on the bout?
Yeah, Canelo's gonna get stopped, man. I think Kirkland. With the Am Wolf situation, here's what's going on with Am Wolf. This is what I've seen so far. Am Wolf had Kirkland when Kirkland came out from prison. He was out of shape when he lost against what's his name again? It's not Kameda. What's that Japanese guy's name?
Ishida.
Yeah.
Nobuhiro Ishida.
Okay, yeah. When he lost against Machida, right? He came out of prison and like he was out of shape and he got with Am Wolf. And every time he's fought, he's always the underdog. So this suits him fine, being the underdog. And now with Am Wolf's situation, what about Am Wolf? If you remember the fight with Melina, she actually said Melina won the fight, and she was hugging Melina thinking, you won that. And Kirkland saw these sort of things. I know he was with the Tapia fight, but they have an abusive relationship, backwards and forwards. And the thing is, Kirkland's at a place right now, he don't need no stress. So with everyone saying with Am Wolf, yeah, she does that. But you know, it's like with anyone, you need a change. And the guy he's got training him right now, he's training him like American football. He's been in I can't remember what American football team that, but he's probably put him through the grind. Kirkland understands that, putting him through the grind. In San Antonio, Texas, I don't know if they still talk or maybe they still talk good, but the thing is, he's coming on the radar. People are expecting Canelo to put on a performance. If you see in the 24/7, Canelo's you're having barbecues over there. He's having a great time. You know, I just think Canelo. I think Alvarez is underestimating him, and I think De La Hoya is not the best at picking. I remember De La Hoya had Barrera fighting Manny Pacquiao in their first Golden Boy fight, and it was supposed to be a party for Barrera, and you saw what happened to that. I'm thinking Kirkland's going to upset the party. He's going to put a beating on Canelo and probably do him. Like, I don't know what. It's the same thing with like Julio Cesar Chavez when he was fighting thing. I knew that guy was going to beat Julio Cesar Chavez. I'm telling you, Kirkland, if you look at his knockout percentage, it's vicious. And he fought Angulo when Angulo was Angulo. Since then, Angulo was shot. When Canelo fought him, he was done. He was done. And Johnny Tapia, he took his head off. He's been fighting some real tough, strong, hungry lions, and he knows where it is. Canelo doesn't hit as hard as them. He doesn't. He doesn't hit near as half of them. If the fight starts going past 3, I'm taking Kirkland, and Kirkland to stop him probably round 8. They're going to have to pull out. They're going to pull out Canelo. He's going to get a beating of his life. I swear that he's got, like, someone like Kirkland is a real, coming from that. All the stuff we was talking about, all the turmoils and traumas, that's what makes him a serious fighter and a serious contender. I don't know how Canelo's going to deal with that. We'll see. But the thing is, Canelo's going to be quicker. He's got tight combinations. I agree. He's going to land his punches. But the thing is, can Canelo handle Kirkland's punches? I don't think so. I don't think he could deal with that power. That power touching him up, he's going to be in some serious trouble. So I'm going Canelo. Actually, no, I'll just say by stoppage rather than me saying a round because he might just go that. I'm going with Kirkland by stoppage. So that's all I got to say about that.
What you need, J. Dales, your thoughts on this fight?
Well, I have to. J. Dale?
Yeah, I'm here.
First, what you need, then
right.
J-Dub.
Okay. On this fight, I haven't really paid attention to both fighters and their preparation. I was watching Canelo train in I think it looked like a garage or something. But the thing about Canelo that's deceptive is everybody thinks he's a banger. Canelo's not. He's not a banger. He's a boxer. So Canelo is he's a very cerebral fighter. He's very, very smart. So I think Canelo knows what he's up against. He's against a very a high pressure coming, high activity southpaw. That's what he's dealing with in Kirkland. Kirkland, because of the angles at which Kirkland comes at you, he's a tricky customer. So Canelo's going to be watching at that. And what Canelo's going to be striving to do with Kirkland is slowing him down. So every single combination he puts on Kirkland is to slow him down. You know what that means? Watch and you'll see. So I haven't really looked at them. I need to see the weigh-in. When I see them at the weigh-in, then I'll really know if Canelo. That's what I did with Mayweather versus Pacquiao. I knew Mayweather was ready for Pacquiao when he came in 146 pounds. I knew this brother was ready. When I looked at Canelo versus Kirkland, I need to see the conditioning of Canelo. That's the most important thing for me. I know he already has the skills. He has a lifetime of skills way above Kirkland's skill level when it comes to skills. But when it comes to conditioning, that's the question. So I pick Canelo for now, but I need to see the weigh-ins. That's how I'll know if he's ready for Kirkland.
What you need? I mean, J-Dills, I'm sorry, J-Dill.
Man, this is like a hedge bet type fight. Like, if it's early, give it to Canelo. If it's late, give it to James. But, this is a tricky fight for me to pick because I wonder what kind of traps Kirkland's going to set up on Canelo. I wonder if he's going to go to Canelo's body. If he goes to Canelo's body early and late and keep pressuring him to the ropes, he got to watch out for that left hook. He's going to have to watch out for the left hook to the body. And then in the middle of the ring, he's going to have to watch out for Canelo's jab.
And the uppercut.
The spear jab especially. The spear jab. Watch out for that one.
And the cute little uppercut that Canelo likes to throw occasionally.
And then in the rounds, that's when Canelo usually starts getting his rhythm. When he gets his rhythm, boy, he throws 3-4 combinations in a row and then gets the crowd into it. And Kirkland might still walk him down and throw a shot here and there. And Canelo got some head movement. I'll give him that. So this fight, I mean, Canelo got some experience against some southpaws like Austin Trout, Arislandi Lara. So Kirkland will probably be the slowest one he ever fought, but probably be the most conditioning one. And yeah. And this is a man's fight. This ain't going to be about skill. This is going to be about will.
No, it's going to be about skill, though. I disagree with that.
No, I'm talking about it's not going to be about skill. I'm talking about, like, it's going to have some will into this, too. Like, we're going to see what kind of heart Canelo has. Because James, he could take punches and he could throw punches. And if Canelo don't got that spear jab going, Canelo is not winning this fight. So I'm going to pick Canelo on boxing ability, but I wouldn't be surprised James stop him.
Well, I just want to add one thing. I think it could be a good old-fashioned beatdown, one-way beatdown. But I think Kirkland's going to come in with some slickness. I think he's training for in the pocket slickness. Changing those angles up so you can't get the shots clean. So I look for Kirkland to put that slickness on it. So if Canelo, if he hasn't done his homework on Kirkland, he's gonna wear himself out, and Kirkland could stop him, right? Now if he's smart, because I think this brother is smart, he's gonna see what it is.
I do too.
I think he's gonna see what's going on with Kirkland. So I expect Canelo to this could be a massacre, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hey, I will never ever bet against my fellow ginger. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, you got thingy fighting people like Matthew Macklin and stuff like that, man.
Well, I will tell you, at the media day, I walked up to Canelo and he just looked at me like, "Where the hell did you come from?"
Yeah, it's not Matthew Hatton. When he's fighting people like Matthew Hatton and that, like, it's come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we'll see soon enough. They, the news conference today, they looked like they were all business. They were all business.
Yeah. Amwolf is not in the ring. I know people like that. That's the HBO thing, and Max Keller likes to push that agenda. But if he loses by himself as a man, and he's gonna take responsibility as it is. Amwolf is not in the ring, so that's what I gotta say about that.
It's not to me so much Wolf versus anyone else. To me, it's the instability of trainers for the fighter. They need somebody that's solid they can count on. And I don't like the erratic nature of him back and forth and moving here and moving there. The guy he has now, I never heard of. I don't think anybody ever heard of him.
The thing is, I understand that, like, the stability, but the thing is, at the end of the day, like, you move on, you change, you're not the same person, and Amwolf is a taskmaster, so at this point in his life, maybe he ain't ready for that, because when the interview, when they asked him about Amwolf, he said, nah, I won't talk about it no more, because, the thing is, I'm not saying, I don't know their relationship, but you can see it's like a relationship where he can't really say what he wants to say, and Amwolf is who she is, so he probably felt like, I need people around me for me, and not gonna talk to him in a certain way, you know what I'm saying? So that's what he feels he needs. If he loses, he should, he's gonna take it on his. But you know what? People are gonna have a built-in excuse. Oh, because Amwolf was in the corner. I hope it ain't gonna be like that. So go ahead.
Sean, Mr. Boxing Addict, chime in.
Yeah, go on then. I rate Kirkland's chances in this fight at absolutely 0. I disagree with you guys, to be honest.
I'd give him more of a chance than that, but I just don't think. I think Canelo's going to win at the end of the day.
Yeah, I give him a puncher's chance, but for me, he's like a poor man's Nigel Benn. He's southpaw, isn't he? But he hasn't got he doesn't really use that southpaw advantage. He hasn't got a great jab or a great use of range or anything like that. And what you need was right there, that Canelo is a boxer. He's not a banger, and he will outbox him, but he can hit hard as well. And his combinations, I think, will absolutely destroy him. I mean, I saw Kirkland in his last fight against that unbeaten guy, a Garcia.
What's his name? New York.
He was a Garcia. I can't remember his first name. But they just had a brawl for however long it lasted. And
Tapia, that's the guy.
That's right. And Tapia, Tapia could have had him out there on 3 or 4 occasions. They beat the shit out of each other. And for me, Canelo is just a class above, and I think he'll beat him in a boxing way, and he'll beat him in a brawling way if it comes to it. That's me.
Canelo needs a.
I'll let you go, Sean. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going for Canelo. Canelo is the more skilled fighter. When was the last time Kirkland fought? He's been out of the ring how long? It's funny how people, when this fight was first signed, are like all against it, saying, well, he hasn't fought for so long, he's not conditioned, he doesn't have a promoter or trainer, and now the fight's getting close and they're like switching teams and thinking that now he's going to do something. He's not going to do anything. He's a limited fighter who's just going to hope he lands a punch and hopes that Canelo wears down. Okay. Canelo fought great fighters, legitimate world champions, and he's had tough times with them, but they are boxers. He's not going to have any problem with this guy. This guy is not going to bring anything that he's not used to. He's no different than Angulo. He's no different than tons of Mexican fighters. He's an aggressive, come-forward fighter who's going to take punches, hoping to land something that's going to do something. Canelo is going to be able to dictate pace, dictate distance. He uses a jab. He has a tough chin. He hits hard, so how's the guy going to feel when he's coming in and getting hit? He looked crap against Tapia, except Tapia threw his punches out and then he had nothing left. So then he took over and he beat him. But who's Tapia? Tapia is far from a legitimate fighter. So, people can blow smoke up Kirkland's ass. I hope they bet, because that'll be interesting.
You don't think you don't think EJ, you don't think the long layup will have any role in terms of Kirkland's performance?
I said it will hurt his performance because he has a long layoff. I mean, that's why. He's going to come in, and what does he have? I mean, he's switching trainers. He hasn't been active. He's been well overweight. I mean, drinking, smoking, doing whatever he's fucking been doing. I mean, Canelo is a professional who's always in the gym and is always prepared. And people can rip him because he's not Floyd, but that's okay. He doesn't need to be Floyd. He's Canelo.
He's a professional. Sorry, go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a professional. And I mean, he takes this serious, and he's got big goals and aspirations that he's aiming for.
And he ain't no that boy ain't no Glenn Tapia. He ain't no Glenn Tapia. You guys gonna see the difference between that boy and Glenn Tapia. He's going in with a beast in there. He's going in with a beast in there. Y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna see.
Canelo's weakness is his condition, though. He does.
No. He does have an issue making the weight, though.
Hey,
that's why I said the weigh-in would tell that thing.
Exactly. He's not professional. He can't make 154. And the Glenn Tapie and Angulo, when Angulo fought Kirkland, yeah, he was dangerous. He was a dangerous dude.'s not the same guy when Canelo fought him.
Because Canelo whooped his ass from the first round. He got beat up by Lara. He wasn't the same guy.
He got beat up by Lara. He got stopped by Lara, and he got stopped. He got beat up by Lara, and he got stopped by Kirkland. So when he came back,
Kirkland is easy work, man.
By the time I start interrupting, bro. By the time Canelo came up with him, he was already done. I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like, the guy hits hard. Like, you guys gonna see anyway. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, Kirkland is a dangerous dude. Don't sleep. But the thing is, he fights infrequently. Sean was right. He does fight infrequently. The last time he fought Glenn Tapie was a long time ago. But before Glenn Tapie, he took a layoff as well. He had rotator cuff after Melina, so he takes fights like once a year. This is usual for him. He takes fights once a year, and this is gonna be a big fight for him. He's focused on it. Hopefully, he's gonna go in and take him apart. That's what I'm saying. So,
man, this ain't Glenn Tapia, bro. This ain't Glenn Tapia.
Yeah.
This is a guy who specializes in target practice.
Wait. We talking over each other, fella. We talking over each other. We talking over each other. J Deal got a question. We talking over each other. J Deal got a question. What is it?
Now, let's say Kirkland gets rid of Canelo. What would this do to Oscar De La Hoya and the Golden Boy?
Who cares, man? Okay. Oscar De La Hoya gotta find someone. He'll find someone else. He's got his nephew. So you can go ahead and use him. So Diego is fine.
It ain't the same, man. What happens to the marketing in boxing?
Kirkland ain't gonna beat him, man.
You guys were laughing at Deontay Wilder when he went against Stavern and stuff like that. So I don't understand. Like, we're making our picks. We're all making our picks, yeah, and like, you know, and you make up. And what happens if I lose? Then I'm cool. I'm cool with that. If we win, if you guys win, then it's cool. Like, laughing and joking, they're gonna fight in a couple of hours. We're gonna find out, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
By the way, Diego De La Hoya put a beat down on Robles tonight. They did go the distance though, which is surprising because De La Hoya put him down in the first round.
Right.
Robles proved to be really tough. It was a good fight. If you see me looking over my on my monitor, it's because I've been watching.
Good.
It's been a fight tonight. Good
there you
fight.
go. Diego De La Hoya is there, so he's good, man.
Yeah. He's only had 10 fights. You know, that's small number to prove anything, but no, he looks good. You know, hopefully he will be solid. I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I've been wrong there too. But you never know.
Let's close the show out by talking about.
And the name sure helps.
Yeah, let's close the show by talking about Figueroa and Burns, and I go to my UK folks first, talking about this one, EJ and Mr. Boxing Addict. The media over there, are they giving Burns any chance, given the way he's looked his last 3 fights, given the tax issues that he's been dealing with? Any chance that they're giving Burns against fighting Figueroa, a.k.a. Tone Loc?
Go ahead, Boston. You go first. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. They're giving him a bit of a chance, you know. The thing with Ricky is he obviously won the title off Martinez, fought a couple of sort of average guys, kept the title for a bit, and then he got in there with some decent guys, Beltran, and then obviously Crawford. Now, the way that I'm looking at this fight, Burns has been in there with Crawford, and okay, he lost a points decision. You know, it's quite a wide points decision, but he did 12 rounds with Crawford. Now, you know what? That's a hell of a lot better than a lot of people have done. Now, going into this fight with Figueroa, I believe that if Burns uses his experience, uses his jab, his reach, his combinations, and doesn't get hit with big shots, I think he could win a points decision here. I know he's an underdog going into the fight, but I truly believe he's got a decent chance.
EJ?
Yeah. I mean, look, if you look at this, Burns' last fight, and I have to go by his last fight, he didn't look too good, and he fought at a higher weight. I think, you know, they're going to give Burns is getting his opportunities, you know, because he was a former world champion. I think they're just feeding him to Figueroa. But Figueroa, I like Figueroa, man. He's an exciting fight.
Yeah, Tone Low. That's your boy, Tone Low.
Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy. I ain't gonna lie to you. They call it Pamfara Figueroa. I like him, but that's my dude right there. It should be an exciting fight. Burns will put up a good effort, but I think Figueroa will probably just pull it out. You know what? I don't think Burns will be stopped. You know, I don't think Burns will be stopped. I think Burns will put up good effort. He's got a good jab, is Burns, and Figueroa's got some good hooks. That'll be a very entertaining fight. But you know what? Burns having a good outing in that fight will do good for his credibility. You know. But if Burns was to pull it off, I wouldn't be surprised, because you see the thing about Figueroa, it's like he's not technically sound. He don't use his jab. Burns has got a very good classic jab and a good right hand as well. But depends what Burns fills up, because they're meeting at a catch weight. Figueroa says he's very strong. It should be a good fight, but I think Figueroa should pull it out. And I think people in UK, I think they're putting some money down on him. I know a lot of people, some people in Scotland, yeah, he's got tax problems. He needs this fight, so this should help him out a bit. Maybe he might get another fight in America, so we'll see. Maybe he might put into a journeyman status if he loses this fight. And I don't know if you want to cover Jamie Moore and Tamika. I don't know if we covered that one yet, because I know you're going to kind of close shoulder, because I want to talk about another UK fighter, Jamie. Is it
quickly,
Jamie?
EJ, quickly.
Jamie McDonald, sorry, Jamie McDonald versus Tamika. That should be a really good fight. Jamie McDonald's got it putting his belt up, and Tamika, you know, he relinquished.
Kameda, you mean? Kameda,
sorry, he relinquished his belt. That should be a really good, entertaining fight. But I think Tamika will be too much for him. I think Kameda will probably he's a bit faster. I think he'll probably pull it out. But Jamie will put up a good effort. If Jamie pulls it off, it'll be massive. But that fight is a real pick and fight. But I'm going with Kameda, so that's what I've got to say about it.
Figueroa and Burns, Sean, your thoughts?
I think Figueroa is too young, too big, too strong. I mean, Burns has looked like he's sliding down. He peaked, and then, you know, he looked bad in his last 3 or 4 fights. Looked limited. So I mean, I expect the younger, stronger guy to beat him.
What you need? Your thoughts?
Is this moving up in weight, right? Junior welterweight?
Yes.
Well, let's see how Figueroa can handle first 140. He's been at 135. He left. He said he wanted to move up to 140. Let's see what he can do at 140 first before I make such a big go that far with Figueroa. As he gets hit, he gets hit. So I know he switches his stance as he's fighting, but he gets hit. So let's see what Ricky Burns can do. I'm actually going to pull for Burns. Ricky Burns.
Get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends what Burns turns up. EJ was right there, you know, because if you look at the Beltran fight, he broke his jaw in the first round and fought the whole fight with a broken jaw.
He's a tough son of a gun.
Yeah, and you know, and then he went in against Crawford, and as I say, he took 3 or 4 rounds off Crawford. So you know, he's got a damn good chance, I think, in this fight.
JDL?
Didn't Figueroa fight Linares?
No.
No. Linares was his #1 contender, but Figueroa decided to move up.
He ran from him.
Yeah, EJ's right. He ran from it because Linares would have beat him.
Yeah.
Linares gets screwed a lot, but okay. Anyways, in this fight, I'm rooting for Burns, but this is going to go 12. It's going to be high action pace. Burns might get hurt in the mid rounds, but he'll keep the pace good with his jab and his high activity rate. At the end, I think Burns will win in my eyes, but I think they'll screw him and give it to Figueroa. And that's
Your thoughts, Gail?
Yeah, they are fighting in Texas, so that's a bit of a problem for Burns. Figueroa looked great in his last fight. It was an interesting fight. He was fighting Daniel Estrada at the infamous StubHub, where crazy stuff always happens, and Figueroa was cut really badly. Trying to remember if it was a headbutt or what the issue was, but it was nasty. He is lucky they didn't stop it outright, and he realized, you know what, I better turn on the gas right now or I'm going to lose. And then it was 9th round, and he just brought it out of nowhere. He just brought it. It was one of the better fights of the night, and that was on the I'm trying to think. That was on the
Porter versus Brook.
It was on the Porter versus Brook undercard.
Yeah, it was. Okay. It was a super good fight, and the funniest part of the whole thing is after he was done, he looked horrible. I mean, he won a great fight. His face had been rearranged, honest to God. He looked like the loser even though he was the winner. And he was all patched up and stuff pasted on him. And he walked up and sat with the crowd, which just endeared me to him no end. And he was taking pictures with people and chatting them up. And honestly, he should not have taken any pictures. He looked terrible. Didn't care. Didn't care. You gotta like a guy like that. Now, and when he realized how much trouble he was going to be in, just getting stopped on a cut, he didn't want to go out. He finished it off. I like a guy who can do that. So I think this will be a test for him, and I don't think he'll get a knockout, but I think he'll prevail.
I think that Ricky Burns, because of the personal issues, I think he will fight an inspired fight. I think he will give Figueroa a tougher fight than folks expect. The problem is, I just don't know if he will win a decision. Figueroa's essentially his hometown of Texas. I think it's in, I want to say it's in Hidalgo.
It's Hidalgo at the State Farm Arena.
Right.
Yeah.
And Figueroa is the A fighter. They've been doing commercials with him promoting this fight. He's the guy that they're pushing, and I'm just not sure that Burns will get a decision in Texas. I think he will perform well enough where he will get a few fights here and there. I like the jab of Burns. I'm a little concerned about him moving up to 140, even though because his best weight was at 130 pounds. 130, 135 pounds, but I think Figueroa will win a close decision. And on that note, we're going to close down the show. I'll go around the table here. Ladies first, Gail Falkenthal, Communities Digital News, for the folks who want to talk boxing or otherwise. Let the folks know where they can find you.
Well, the first thing you can do is read my column, which is Ringside Seat, and it appears in Communities Digital News, which is COMMDIGI News, comdiginews.com. You'll also see my work on the Pound for Pound Boxing Report. You'll see some of my video that I'm shooting at workouts and interviews on YouTube and such, and I will be posting new Canelo workout video tonight and tomorrow. And you can always find me during the fights chatting it up with all the boxing heads and fight freaks, now that the wannabes and posers have all gone away, thank God. And I'm PR Pro San Diego. And we're all reveling in it on Twitter tonight because everybody else left the building and all the hardcore is still there. We love it.
Jay Dill, for folks who want to talk boxing otherwise, let the folks know where they can hit you up.
Okay, it's on YouTube channels. There's 2 channels you can find me at. Out of Control Troll 2, that channel, or Jay Deal. And you can also find me on Facebook out of a group that me and my partner create, which is called Face Tweet Boxing. If you want to join, talk some boxing, get your points across respectfully, and do video chats with one another, then let's get it going. And pretty much find me at Life7Joe on Twitter, and that's how you can reach me.
EJ Boxing, my UK homie. For folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, let them know where they can find you.
EJ Boxing Live on Twitter. Find me on Twitter. EJ Boxing on YouTube. Yeah, you can find me there. So, looking forward to talking to you guys. And yeah, man, that's it, man.
What's the Facebook page, bro?
I don't give my Facebook up, man.
Oh, you don't do that anymore?
Nah, my Facebook's for people close. Now, I never used to do that anyway. I only gave up my YouTube and Twitter. I don't.
All right, and I've been posting fights up on there, man. It's information
Nah,
news
that's
and stuff.
it because it's got my real name on it. So like, wow.
No, I'm talking about the EJ Live Boxing page.
No, I still only put like people. I actually just pick people like friends and stuff like that. I don't really just out there. I just don't want any old bud coming in there, so I don't really advertise.
Okay.
You guys are one of the lucky few, so you know what I mean. So.
What you need for folks who want to talk boxing, anything else, let them know where they can find you.
I'm Anson Phillip. What you need, it's WATTUNEED, and basically you can find me on YouTube by the name What You Need, and basically I talk boxing. Oh, there are two What You Needs on YouTube. Look for the one that's red and black, and I basically break down boxing. I like to just share what I've learned about boxing to other fans of boxing, so that's what I do.
Mr. Boxing Addict, what's the info where folks can find you?
Yeah, you can get me on Twitter, Mr. Boxing Addict, and similarly on YouTube at Mr. Boxing Addict as well. I'm always on there trolling, and as I always say, con fans are welcome.
Sean, he had to dip out. For those who don't know, he teaches during the day, so he had to handle those duties. Sean Newton, he's all over. Just look up Sean Newton, SHAWN. Sean Newton, NEWTON on YouTube and on G+. He's all over the place. You'll find him on any boxing YouTube channel, talking boxing and whatnot, making comments here and there. The boxing troll himself, in a good way, the boxing troll himself, Sean Newton. If you want to find me, Brother JR76 on Twitter. If you want to find anything about the Pound for Pound box, you can also find me on Instagram. I got an Instagram account, Brother JRSC, where I post stuff from the Pound for Pound box report, and plus my political side, my socially conscious side, my fitness side. If you want to get into that, just Brother JRSC on Instagram. If you want to find out anything about the Pound for Pound box report, again, go to the Pound for Pound box report blog page, p4pboxingreport.wordpress.com, where you'll find again video uploads, articles, blog posts written by not only yours truly, but also by Gail Falkenthal, as well as Kayla M. Lewis on Twitter, KBC Live on G+ and on YouTube. Also on the blog page, you will find links to where to find us all over the internet, all over social media. Facebook, G+, the 2 G+ pages, YouTube, Podomatic, Tumblr, Twitter. We got a Pinterest board, RSS feed, to the link where you can find us on Stitcher Radio. Email address, p4pboxingreport@gmail.com. Also, and lastly, I said Twitter, last but not least, the donate your account link, donateyouraccount.com/p4pboxingreport. On the next episode of the Pound for Pound Box Report, we will do a recap of Alvarez, Kirkland. We will do a recap of Figueroa Burns. We may mention the Kameda fight, and we will do a preview of Triple G as he fights Willie Monroe. Gail and I was at the media call earlier this week. He's going to be fighting Willie Monroe. Also on the undercard, Roman Gonzalez, Chocolatito. EJ, we talk about him all the time. Sean Newton as well. Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. If you haven't seen him before then, check him out on YouTube. He's all over YouTube. If you're a hardcore fight freak and you don't know about him, I question your knowledge about boxing. I say that right now. Yeah. Chocolatito, he's going to be fighting on the undercard, fighting Edgar Sosa, so look out for him. So there you go. For Gail Falkenthal of Community Digital News, for EJ Boxing Live, for Jay Dills, for Mr. Boxing Addict, for What You Need, for Sean Newton, I'm your host, Michael. This has been another episode of the Pound for Pound Box Report. Y'all have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Peace.